The College Baseball Experience preview and picks episode for February 27th on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Yes, make real money predicting sports, people. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with the promo code SGPN. Yes, that's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the College Baseball Experience preview and picks episode for Friday, February 27th. Well, I know today is Thursday, but you know what it is. The games are Friday for the whole weekend. I can't wait. I was at a game last night. It was fantastic. YouTube.com/the College Experience as we continue on this beautiful, beautiful college baseball season. Yeah, I mean, fire games every single day. It's just great to be officially back. I know it's been a couple weeks now, but sometimes I just can't. It's between this and me hosting the college basketball stuff. It's just like my brain is occupied with scores nonstop. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swing and Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Sir. Shout out to Steven last night, who big fan of the show, College Baseball Experience. Comes up to me as I was watching East Carolina and Charleston play ball in Fayetteville, of all places.
There we go.
That's Steven. First tells me, so he just hangs out, big fan of the show. Hung out for like 30 minutes, but he told me, I'm sorry, I'm taking Charleston plus took the 2.5 runs. It's like Bieniek told me to. Well, at the time, ECU was up 7-1. And damn if in the 8th and the 9th, Charleston scores a bunch of runs and Steven hits in my Pirates, which I took the run line, right? Or I'm sorry, I took the money line. So it all worked out yesterday. Shout out to Steven. Appreciate you saying what's up and everything. I am joined by my co-host. He is also the host of the Head First podcast, former Cincinnati Bearcat. Give it up for JP Sponseller. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Great, actually. We got a bunch of great games to look forward to this weekend, so I'm pumped to get into it. Pumped to meet my friend Delta here for the first time. Noah will introduce him here in a sec, but I'm pumped to get into this episode.
Yeah, man. Great time of year. We also joined by third man in the booth. He is the host of the College Basketball Experience as well. Give it up for the great Noah Bieniek. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Colby. Excited and fired up to be talking weekend 3 college baseball. It's one of the best weekends of the year because we get some really, high-powered non-con rivalry series this weekend. I'm very excited for the slate. The fourth chair tonight, we do have a fourth chair, and it's Delta Dimes. So I saw basically his page. He can explain it for himself, but I was like, man, that really is unfortunate because he's had tremendous traction all year long so far through the first 3 weekends of college baseball. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, kind of shed some light on what has happened, what the last 12 hours has been like for you, and also get some of your analysis and picks on some of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Too many kind words. But yeah, so I posted my recap as I normally do, my plays for today. Want to know so far, Hawaii's still in the chamber, and my account got suspended. They didn't tell me why. I like to think I keep it pretty PC, not much cussing. I don't, berate trolls or anything like that, even though they deserve it. I don't repost media, so I don't think it was anything copyright. I really have no clue what it came from, but we'll see. Hopefully, whatever AI bot that Twitter uses to review the appeals rules in my favor. But if not, I will, make an alternate account or something, and everyone will find me eventually. So yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, excited to talk baseball.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just crazy that they shut that down. I had it happen to me with YouTube when I made some jokes about Russia one year, one time, but that was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago or something. But I've never had the Twitter page just randomly, and I feel like we've crossed the line plenty of times. So I don't know. I don't know what like some. What I was thinking is maybe someone, a fan of another team or something, may have flagged that. Just be like, oh man, we lost in the, maybe you post like, and I have no idea what like ninth inning comeback by someone, and someone's just pissed they lost money, and maybe boom. Is that possible?
Could have been. I have no idea. I do keep my my DMs off so the trolls don't flood them. So it could have been that, but we'll see.
Yeah, either way, pretty lame stuff there, man. We got to get that appeal going for you. Bieniek, so how do you want to start? You want to go? So we're going to start by going 11.7 first, correct?
Yeah, we're going to talk some of the biggest games and biggest series of the weekend while we have Delta Dimes on the show. And then we will talk a lot of the Friday, kind of 50-50 coin toss games at the end of the show. And it should be a lot of fun.
All right, let's jump into it. Anything else? Anything you want to hit on before that? Any news as far as like is injuries or anything?
I think a lot of the injury newsworthy stuff we'll be able to mention as we go along because we'll be talking about quite a few of them, I believe. So,
all right, YouTube.com/The College Experience and hashtag Justice for Delta. Get in it. Let's do this. All right. 11.7 Pick'em and Survivor. If you're not familiar, we've been doing this for years, even prior to Bieniek working with 11.7. This is something they've been doing for a while. At one point, Circa, our buddies over at Circa, were teamed up with them. Any chance that's going to happen again, Bieniek?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't like lost that connection or whatever for, it just hasn't been repursued, I guess would be the way I would describe it. We had another sponsor come in and pick it up in Home Field Apparel, which we've talked about, and they have fantastic gear. So
they are amazing. Yeah.
They are a lot of vintage gear there. So yeah, the 11.7 Pick'em and Survivor, we went through and selected some really nice, tough series to pick for the upcoming weekend. The one that, kind of is the elephant in the room that's not on here, and it's dubbed as the best college baseball rivalry by many, is Clemson and South Carolina. It's a nice neutral home series. Just the Gamecocks, they've taken losses to, Northern Kentucky, right? Army, Queens. They're just out here donating losses left and right to some, programs or whatever. We'll mention the series here. I don't think that, Clemson swept them last year. I think that Bakich and the boys win the series once again and have a very good possibility of sweeping it. JP, any thoughts differ from that for you?
No, I personally think that Clemson's going to take belt to ass this weekend. Fun fact, though, one thing that scares me a little bit is the longest win streak in this series of all time is 7 games, and the Clemson Tigers are at 7 games right now. So it's just one of those. Now, don't get me wrong. Clemson will be one of my hammer picks tomorrow.
A moneyline parlay dance partner, as you will.
Yes, for sure. But Yeah, it just scares me, the fact that it's one of those spots where like no one feels like South Carolina can do it, and it's baseball and it's at South Carolina.
Yeah, I think I got it. I mean, and I'm a package guy, but I feel like I'll ride history on that right there. All right. I mean, I just sprinkle a little bit, you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Florida at Miami. I'm very excited. I mean, I know someone in the chat was talking about, did you see the Miami comeback last night? Miami this season has been,
dude, unbelievable.
Every game is bananas, right?
Yeah. Well, they're
I don't
averaging.
want to talk about those guys right now.
Yeah, both JP and I were riding FAU plus 3.5. It was like the worst beat ever. Before we move on to that series, Delta, any thought on Clemson, South Carolina that differs from the mean?
I have a straight sweep. As I was telling JP earlier, I've already got Clemson and a couple money line parlays. I thought minus 220 even was a little too generous.
There we go. So yeah, Miami leading the country in home runs and strikeouts thrown. So they're dominating on both sides of the ball. However, they've played basically nobody on the weekend so far. And their best competition in the midweeks have given them absolute thrillers. 13 innings against UCF. And then last night against FAU, they had to score, 7 in the ninth to end up winning that game and keeping the undefeated record. So this series should be pretty fun, entertaining. Florida, they have the expected 2 first-rounders in the weekend rotation. Miami has played so well up until this point. However, Kevin O'Sullivan, the head coach of Florida, has an extremely good record against Miami. However, I think that this is the Canes' best team under JT Arteaga, and I think they're able to get the series, win at least 2 or 3 at home at Marklight Field. Give me the Canes. How about you, JP?
The Gators are going to be my pick for tomorrow. I told myself, especially at plus money, I'd probably take them Friday and Saturday, just because of the starting pitching and Liam Peterson, Aiden King. I got the Gators in Omaha. I think that their opening day loss to UAB kind of was a highlight, and people have kind of tuned out the fact that they've been on a roll ever since. So I'm going with the Gators. You said it. They've owned Miami in the past. I'm going with the Gators.
Delta, how about you in this matchup here with the 2 rivals going at it?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I, along with Q Millie, echo that Liam Peterson is a mental midget until proven otherwise. So I struggle to back him, but the flashes he shows, it's a game I probably won't be betting. Definitely watching, at least on Friday. But I did pick Florida in the pick'em.
Yeah, I'm with you on Florida too. You got a red hot Miami team who, I mean, I know they've had some impressive like blowouts against who was it? Lehigh? Did they open up with someone like that? But they've been living on the edge in a couple of these games, man. So I think I'm with the Gators here. I think Gators, after that UAB embarrassment, they get on top of it. Southern Miss at La Tech. They will be both in the Sun Belt this time next year. So regional game here. Bieniek, for future conference foes and former conference foes. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'll let Delta Diamonds bat lead off on this one. This is his squad. He's a Golden Eagles fan.
Yeah, I'll cover up the shirt here. I did attend Ole Miss, but I am from Hattiesburg, so that's why I'm a big Southern Miss fan. But makes me miss the old Conference USA back when Rice was what Rice was. It was a great baseball conference. Hard to read La Tech so far. I was high on them coming into CUSA play to challenge Dallas Baptist there. But hard to read when your best competition is Ohio State, given what Ohio State was in the Big Ten, although, you can't really get worse than last year. So I do think they're a little bit better. I just think the Southern Miss pitching staff is way too deep. They were running against Alabama. They ran 4 or 5 freshmen out, and Bama, couldn't sniff anything. So I think pitching, big advantage Southern Miss. Their lineup has been great. Seth Smith still batting above 500. this deep into the year. It looks like he's shored up the shortstop spot. Joey Urban's still hitting 450 in the 2-hole. And they've gotten a lot of power this year, which is something Southern Miss has struggled with in years past. However, playing in Ruston at the Love Shack in a rivalry matchup, it's always tough. If I had to pick, I'd say 2-1 Southern Miss. I think La Tech gets them somewhere. And on the betting lines, minus 200 is about the length of which I think it should be. It's getting a little too far, I think.
Yeah, I would agree on that aspect. And I thought that was a pretty dang good handicap of the series. And I have the same viewpoint as you. Like, I think Louisiana Tech is a challenger in the Conference USA. However, the strength of schedule has not been what we've seen Southern Miss play so far this year. So Louisiana Tech with best batting average, best OPS in the Conference USA haven't really been tested as much as I think Southern Miss will provide them a good challenge this weekend, albeit at the Love Shack. Southern Miss 304 team ERA. You got 7 guys in the lineup with at least a bomb so far this year through a handful of games, which has been, the rarity for Southern Miss, like you mentioned. And I think that kind of provides more emphasis on how balanced this team is this year and how lethal I think they can be. So I think the Golden Eagles go into Ruston and take 2 or 3 here at least as well. JP, how about you?
Yeah, I'm seeing eye to eye with you guys. I think La Tech, I think they're for real this year, and especially being at home in a rivalry, they definitely find a way to take one in this series. I don't know which one it's going to be, but Southern Miss, they're riding a high. They're a scrappy team, great lineup, deep pitching staff. I'm going with the Eagles here to keep riding that high and take the series.
Bang, bang on the door, baby. Southern Miss is the play, but I do love the Love Shack angle, and I do think it'll be chippy. I think they'll get one. But yeah, Southern Miss, I think, man, I was really impressed with the opening day. What was it? They lost opening day, but that series against UC Santa Barbara, was it? Was it Santa Barbara opening day? Yeah. That was pretty impressive, I thought, and just great home crowd. I know this is on the road, but I'm a big fan of Southern Miss Delta historically. I don't know how old you are, but I'm saying, like, they used to football, basketball, baseball. They've all had their moments. Basketball's been terrible for a little bit now, but I've always loved Southern Miss, so maybe I'm a little biased there. Michigan, Bieniek's boys. Can the magic from opening day be or opening weekend be rejuvenated here in San Diego, California? Taking on the Toreros. Bieniek, your thoughts?
Yeah, head coach Tracy Smith from the West Coast loves, taking these little trips. This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th straight year they've done a California spring break trip. And this is a 3-game series there against the Toreros. And both teams, I think, have overachieved expectation to a certain degree so far this season. Michigan remains just sneaky, I would say. The offense isn't going to blow you away, but the pitching staff's solid top to bottom. There's not, I don't think, an elite arm on the staff, but there are multiple good college pitchers that throw strikes. And San Diego, on the other hand, their starting rotation has been incredible. They've got 3 starters with a whip under 125 so far this season, all 3 with an ERA under 330. I believe it was. They just swept the Tony Gwynn Legacy Invitational this past weekend, so they're rolling coming into this game. They did lose like a 5-hour game against UC San Diego in the midweek, so I like USD to take this series against the Wolverines here. I think their offense just comes to play a little bit more than U of M's here. The storyline is Adrian Beltre Jr. for San Diego. He's been injured or out for a couple of games. The rumor is that he'll be back this weekend. The offense has been great without him, but he's definitely their best stick. And inserting him back into the lineup, I do not think will be a negative. So I'm going Toreros here, JP.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great series. With that being said, Michigan's 3rd weekend in a row on the road, a long travel trip. Colby, I swear we've brought these Toreros up the past 2 shows. And me and you keep riding with them, and they keep dominating. So I'm going to keep riding that wave. Give me the Toreros.
Well, I mean, 100%. We took them they were a dog, I think, opening night in Charlotte against the 49ers there. And look, they did more magic, the Tony Gwynn legacy games, and then I like the only time I didn't bet them, they lose to UC San Diego, but that was an awesome game. That was an awesome game. If you got eyes on that, but I'm not fading. These are my Toreros. I'm about to move to San Diego. They keep cashing for me like this. Delta Dimes, what are you doing here, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the one contrarian here. San Diego's a great club, always competitive in the WCC. But I was ringing the bell. Don't be too high on Michigan after opening weekend. But they looked good again last weekend, even though they went 1-2, only beating Louisville. But I'm gonna take Michigan here. Coin flip, just as the odds, show. But
All right, did you guys talk pre-episode where like I know Noah's your friend and you're just like, hey dude, all right, if you come on the show you gotta pick my Michigan Wolverines. All right, was that
I asked him before. I was like, do I have your stamp of approval? And he was like, oh, I'm going the other way. And I was like, oh man. I was like, I
he
thought
does
at
that
least
so
he
I
would
don't
be on my
scrutinize him
side.
though. He does that so I don't scrutinize him. And I noticed he went with Southern Miss. So yeah, I think you guys might have made a deal pre-episode.
Colby, I have both Florida and Michigan in an 11.7 pick'em, and I'm picking against both.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I got to put my tinfoil hat on and see what the hell Bieniek's up to. There's an angle here that I'm not seeing yet. I love this next matchup. I believe this is called is this the Battle of the I-10 or the I-40? What is this rivalry? South Florida and UCF. What is that road?
Some highway.
Whatever
It's
highway is there.
like
Yeah.
Old school American rivalry.
Yes, the old school. Yeah, hell yeah, man. It gets chippy. It doesn't matter.
The war on I-4.
I-4. There we go. Sorry, I-10. I think is
Shout
like
out Google.
I-10's Aggies and UTEP.
And then the 75 is Bowling Green and Toledo, right? Yeah. Okay. South Florida, traveling to Orlando there. Big time rivals. This is. I'm glad to see this on schedule. They should play this every year. Let's be honest. Bieniek, your thoughts on this one? Because UCF, man, I can't get that Miami game out of my head. That was like, I think that might be the best game I've seen this year. I don't know. There's been a few fire games this year, but that Miami UCF game, man, that was one of my favorite games thus far. Your thoughts on this matchup? Because I'm intrigued and I kind of want to hear your angle.
Yeah, if you're talking about back and forth entertaining games, I mean, the Miami UCF one is definitely one that deserves quite a few shouts. There's a handful, I think, that could come to mind for me. But with this series specifically, I think UCF's going to be a popular pick. They are, of course, right now the current power program of the two. And they, have a really good weekend rotation that has performed, I think, well so far against competition that I think is formidable. They have a 4.17 team ERA. They have some star power in Diamaz Ross and Andrew Williamson, who's getting some draft hype. He's hitting 333 with a 1086 OPS. I think a lot of people are going to land on the Knights. For me, I'm just a big fan of Mitch Hanna's. I love the way that his ball clubs play typically. There's not really a rhyme, rhythm, or method to the madness for my pick here. I just believe that they're going to be able to scrap out a couple of wins. You look at their first two weekends, they've got 4 wins by a total of 4 runs. In both series they've won. So I think the Bulls are going to be able to get it done. They've got really good balance. It's a top 100 offense, top 100 defense in multiple categories. Give me USF to go on the road and pull off the upset 2-3 here over the Knights, JP.
Yeah, I love this matchup. As a veteran of the American Conference, I think this is going to be an absolute dogfight of a series. I too love Mitch Hanna's. I think he's a great coach, and I've already seen some better things out of this USF program than I saw last time I was down there playing in 2023. And I hate the Knights, but I think they underperformed last year, and they have a really good roster. And I think they're going to be a competitor, maybe middle to higher of the pack in the Big 12 this year. And give me the Knights at home.
Delta. I'm curious your thoughts here and just who does Southern Miss, like the Southern Miss have, like as a Southern Miss fan, do Is there any animosity towards any of these teams? I know that they're somewhat geographically in. I mean, what for a little bit there, the UCF was in the CUSA, right? That was a while ago. So
I
is there,
believe
is it?
UCSF was also in the old Metro Conference back when it was like Louisville, Southern Miss as well. No real animosity there. I'd say the biggest one back in the old Conference USA was East Carolina. Was always like the
Oh, I
biggest
know,
rivalry
buddy.
every year.
Colby's the East
But
Carolina guy.
Yeah, I'm an ECU guy,
Oh,
so
okay.
I know that one well. But I always respected your fans. Always
Oh, yeah.
really good fans, and I did. At that, I'm sure during those days, I wished evil thoughts to all you guys. But next day you wake up and it's a brand
Two
new
of
day.
the best G5, stadiums and fan bases for sure.
Heck yeah, man. So I'm curious, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah, for me, as you can tell, anyone who's seen me on Twitter, a lot of unders, heavy emphasis on pitching. So I have to go UCSF here or UCF here. Braden Smith, D2 transfer, and Matt Saucer, I think is how it's pronounced, Florida State guy or transfer. Both still have a 0 ERA on the year. And so I got to go there with UCF. Although, like I agree, Mitch Hannes is great. Nothing negative on South Florida, but I'll take the Knights. I also did luck out on there. I was on Miami that night. They choked it late, so I was.
Oh my God.
I came away with that more impressed with UCF than I was with Miami. So that kind of goes in, I guess, a little bit to me backing Florida and backing UCF here.
Yeah. I mean, that game was high drama. Even the basketball crowd came over from the checkout from the parking lot. That was fantastic. I'm with you, Bieniek. Give me these Bulls. This is an old rivalry. They're bitter that UCF went and left ship. And Ryan Pruitt's balling out for the Bulls. They've looked good so far this year, except for that Bethune-Cookman thing. But yeah, give me the Bulls to get the best of the very Golden Knights there.
Your camera's back on space, by the way, too.
Yeah, I don't know how to correct that. It just does it. It just does it. You know what I mean? This new MacBook. Nebraska is at Auburn. We were talking about this in the chat. I feel like was this last week maybe that we were talking about this matchup. Looking forward to this week. Bieniek, before I jump to you, I'm going to go to our biggest Nebraska fan in that there. He's been looking at real estate over there in Lincoln, but now they go to Auburn, Alabama there. Your thoughts on this matchup? Are you going to still back your boys? Actually, I think you were high on both these teams, if memory serves me correct. But JP, what are you doing here?
I think I love this Nebraska team, and I think honestly, me throwing them in I know it's super early, but me throwing them in my Omaha 8, people watching them last weekend, just the way they competed may have opened some eyes a little bit. I think they're going to do the same thing this weekend. But at the same time, this Auburn team was kind of my team of the week last week. They respond and sweep the weekend last week. I think they ride that high and come back home. They just almost nearly tripped up in a midweek and got a walk-off win. I think it's going to be – they've been getting some packed atmospheres down there at Plainsman Park. I think it's going to be rocking. I think it's a 2-1 series for sure. No sweep here, but give me the Tigers.
Yeah.
In this series, this one should be interesting and I think fun. I think you may find some of these games lower scoring if Auburn's offense doesn't necessarily come to play. I'm still a very big believer in this Auburn group. I think that they are Omaha caliber under Coach Butch Thompson. And I think he's pushing all the right buttons currently with the pitching staff. I don't know where in the world Chatterton's at, but they're starting rotations throwing strikes right now. And I know that was a little bit of an issue in the fall and in the buildup going into the season. So the rotation's been excellent, and that's been the strength of their team, surprisingly. And I believe in the offense, and rumors are that Chris Rembert, who missed last weekend with a shoulder thing, he's going to be back in the lineup for the Tigers. That's their best hitter, their best player, the heartbeat of the program right now. I love Auburn at home at Plainsman to get this thing done. I don't think that's the necessary biggest angle for it. I think if any of the 17 Big Ten teams there's probably 3 that are able to handle big crowds, and Nebraska's one of them because their fan base is rowdy for baseball as well. Heading in the Plainsman, I don't think that's going to bother them as much. I just think that I trust Auburn's offense a whole lot more than the Cornhuskers at this point, and I think Auburn's pitching staff is quality, so that's where I'm going. How about you, Delta?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I have Auburn here. And as you mentioned, unders here are definitely something I'm looking for. 5 of the 6 starters are sub 3.3. The only one over that is Jasa, Saturday guy for Nebraska.
Yeah, and
I think
he's
he has
like
a
throwing
5.
high 90s.
Yeah, and I was going to say, he has the
invisible.
best stuff of everyone. So if he's on, but this is definitely one tomorrow, Saturday, and probably even Sunday, depending where they open, I'll be looking to dive under.
Yeah, look, I have a policy I normally stick to is fading the Big Ten and Noah Petiti up there on the top of the corner.
It hasn't been the best start for you this year.
Yeah,
Big Ten's
that's
been
true.
okay.
Sure, this money's starting to bleed into baseball that they're making nonstop. But look, there's no Wonder Boy. There's no Roy Hobbs. It's a callback to The Natural and him being from. I believe he's from Omaha in that movie or book. Auburn's going to destroy them. I'm sorry.
Speaking of founding members of the Big Ten, how about this next series, Colby?
Yes, beautiful. I do like the regionality. This one actually, I'm not as offended by
the Big Ten team traveling all the way out to California to play the Mustangs.
Yes, nothing like the good old Big Ten team going to San Luis Obispo to take on the Mustangs of Cal Poly. Have you guys caught Cal Poly this year? I know that they're not killing it yet, but I've been impressed. USC at Cal Poly. It's not often you get the big school, going on the road to the mid-major. So I'll lead the way on this one. Beat it. Give me Cal Poly all day. These Mustangs are going to be. The fan base will be ready for this one. They will be ready for the Trojans to come there. Bieniek, am I a maniac? Or are you going to go Noah Petiti on us here?
No, I don't think you're a maniac at all. I think it's a quality pick. I am going to gaslight you a little bit and take USC. So first off, I have to preface this with we fucked up with 11.7. Both Ben and I were in charge of choosing the series this week. And I swear I looked, but this is a 4-gamer. So there's some strategy with the 4-game and the accidental fuck up in the series pick 'em here. So first off, with the 4 games, if it ends 2-2, it's going to unfortunately be a draw. The way that both teams are approaching this is the Thursday game is a midweek. USC's starting a guy with an 8 ERA. Ironically, he was Ohio State's Friday night starter last year on opening day. And then Cal Poly had a TBA. I didn't monitor it, who was starting for them. But then both teams are going Friday starter, Saturday, Sunday, all normal. So that's how you can attack it. You can submit your pick before tomorrow's game for everybody that is curious on how that's going to go. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship and game theory to that for sure. Also, I believe we're going to shut down the Survivor, but for those that are in the Survivor and pick this game, again, quite the advantage for you. If it ends 2-2, you'll advance because you didn't technically get eliminated. So it was a big fuck up, and it's not going to happen again. But it was such a solid series that it deserved it. Colby mentioned, the high major team traveling to the mid major. San Luis Obispo should be up for this series, I believe. Friday and Saturday's games should be pretty filled at the park. I think Cal Poly's game, especially on Friday and Saturday. I don't know what happened with Josh Volmerding, their opening weekend Saturday starter, but he did not make an appearance last weekend, I do not believe, and he's not in the projected weekend rotation for this upcoming weekend. So that's a little bit of an issue. The team ERA is still great, 29th in the country with 3.14. But USC, this has been an elite pitching staff so far. They haven't played anybody, but I'm buying. Like, they have really good stuff in that weekend rotation. 33 innings, 1 earned run, 52 strikeouts, and 10 walks. I'll take the Trojans here on the road to get it done. JP, how about you?
I'm going to continue just like the Toreros here. I rode with the Mustangs last time. I'm riding with the Mustangs again at home.
They are down 2-0 right now in the fourth of game one here, but there is a good crowd. The Mustangs are down 2-0. That is. Delta, don't follow this Noah Patini nonsense. What are you doing here, man?
It's a tough one. USC hasn't left the dough field yet, even though it's, regional-ish. I like to bang the drum for my mid-majors, but, I'm just really high on this USC pitching staff. They've looked great. Griffin Ness and Leaf Palmer are also phenomenal for Cal Poly, who they'll go with Friday and Saturday. Palmer's the Oregon State transfer. But I'm going with USC on this one. I think Rice is a much better team than anyone's given them credit for so far this year. So I think there is something to say about beating Rice last weekend. Granted, it was a bunch of 4-0, 4-1 games. But this is another one. I think the total was 11.5 today. I avoided it with a bullpen guy and a TBA going. But if it's 11.5 the next couple of days, it's one I would definitely be on.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, before we jump to tomorrow's slate, that is, or I guess more of tomorrow's slate, I want to let you know that the College Baseball Experience is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Get the SGPN app for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. It has access to all of our picks, our podcasts, our articles, all of our content, really. And we give it to you for free because we don't care about stinking money. All right. It's all in one easy place. All right. The App Store or Google Play Store. Just type in SGPN, click download, and let it ride. We're also brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi's real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. And Kalshi has a ton of trading options for your favorite sports. And besides sports, they got a ton of other markets, including politics, entertainment, hell, even the weather. I think someone jumped in the chat. They bet they bet for the State of the Union for Trump to have a sleepy Joe Biden reference, which I thought was a decent wager, to tell you the truth. No, they lost, but that's some of the action you can get over at Kalshi. You can trade anything over there. New Kalshi customers get $20 when you use the promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has been on an absolute heater right now for March Madness. They're loading up for March Madness for college hoops. Remember, they threw us a great college hoops party out there in Vegas last year. Super easy to sign up, run predictions off the house model, or make your own and mess around with those sliders. Rhythm, really works really well with Kalshi as well. I highly recommend pairing both. Looking to go premium? Use the promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app. That's RITHMM, and that'll get you 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm, promo code SGPN25. All right. And Paul dropping knowledge about Cal Poly in the chat. He says, let's go. Go Mustangs. Yeah, they got that John Madden. John Madden left like a $30 million donation, I think it was. Something crazy, I think, that was his university, and when he passed, he did a great move. Let me not give my kids any of this money. I'm joking. I don't know if he had. He might have. He might have just been so rich after the video games, he just threw it all. He said, have my video game money.
Did you see Dylan Nielsen's DBU just hit a homer in the 8th, 2 outs, tied up?
Ooh,
we need that one.
I need to jump over to that one.
Yeah. Shoot, speaking of homers in the 8th, BYU was down 4-1, and they scored 5 runs in the final 2 innings to take that. How about this comment from Bennett? Kalshi market, will Delta dime and get his X account back?
Yeah, I mean that needs to get up there. Let me ask you, was it a certified account? I always think that your chances are better if it's certified, right?
It was not.
Okay.
It was something I debated doing so I could tweet longer, but I never got around to it. So no.
Right on. I don't blame person. You. I would never certify my account if it wasn't for my bosses saying, "Hey, we want you to certify it. Here's the money to do it." And I was like, "Okay." I would never do that without that. You know what I mean? Without someone throwing that money there. But I do think it does help your chances in cases like this.
For sure.
From what I understand.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's jump over to the next stuff here. We got the Bruce Bolt College Classic going on. Bieniek, break this thing down for the good folks out there.
Yeah, so this is the OG weekend get-together, invitational tournament, whatever you want to call it, down there in Houston. Brand new sponsor this year is Bruce Bolt, like an equipment company, I believe. I'm not hip to it as I've been out of the game for a little bit now. But we've got 6 teams in this thing this year. Ohio State, UTSA is the game 1 on day 1. Baylor, Ole Miss is the second game on day 1, and on day 3, or day 1, game 3 is Coastal Carolina and Texas. Those are your 6 teams. On YouTube here, youtube.com/college college experience, you can see the slide that we have displaying currently all 3 days. I won't read them all, but basically for the exercise to add some analysis to this, we're going to choose the team that we think has the best chance of going 3-0 on the weekend, and also just a team that we think we're very interested in watching this weekend for various different storylines, whether it be like this team's got something to prove. I think this team could do well, but we haven't, kind of seen them up against this competition, or, whether it be a storyline. And I'm going to begin with kind of like the slam dunk, just to throw an example out there. So Coastal Carolina is the team to watch. They're down their top 4 pitchers entering this weekend. The pitching depth is tremendous for Coastal Carolina, and the pitching coach Matt Williams did a really good job with that group last year. But their ace Cameron Fluke's out with a rib stress fracture, probably going to be like an 8-week thing for him. Hayden Johnson, their number 2 starter, hasn't even thrown yet this year, and probably won't for another 6 weeks due to an elbow thing. They're down Ryan Lynch, he's building himself back up into throwing condition right now. He had like a sub 150 ERA last year. He was an excellent reliever. And then honestly, one of college baseball's best relievers that came back was Dominic Carbone, and he's out for the year with a UCL injury. So Coastal Carolina, I think, has a lot of guys that have the ability of stepping up into some of these roles that are now available for these arms, but we just kind of need to see who's going to do it. And I think their slate of Texas, UTSA, and Ole Miss is the best 3 teams other than Coastal Carolina there. So it's going to be a tough challenge for them, and I can't wait to see whether they sink or swim. And for me, the team that I think has a good shot of going 3-0, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going Ole Miss. Their pitching staff has been very strong this year against strong mid-major opponents so far this season. Nevada and Missouri State, here they get a good draw. Baylor, Ohio State, Coastal, and they catch Coastal on day 3, where some of their pitching staff could be exposed, whether it be bullpen or if they're struggling to find a starter. So I think Ole Miss has a really favorable draw here, and they'll be able to go 3-0. Give me the Rebels there. JP, how do you look at the Houston Astros Foundation Classic this year?
Yeah, I'm with you on my team to watch. It's just Coastal. They've dropped a couple games early. You mentioned the misses from the pitching staff. The offense hasn't clicked early, rather than the past couple games. The one thing about this pitching staff, though, is they're run by Matt Williams, who I believe is one of the best pitching coaches in the country. They've brought in some of the best young pitchers in the country, whether it's freshmen or some younger transfers. I have no doubt that these guys are good enough to compete at this level and against these teams. I do have question marks whether they're ready to do it on weekend 3 of their college career for some of them on a big stage. So that's definitely interesting for me to watch. Another thing is just like, I feel like everyone's counting them out specifically for this weekend. And This is a head coach in Kevin Schnall and just a team culture that I love. And they're going to love being in this spot of being looked at as the underdog this weekend. So I'm kind of eerie. I'm looking forward to making them make a statement. For my team expected to go 3-0, I was going to mix it up, expecting with you to go with the Longhorns. I was going to go with the Rebels, especially given their schedule. I'm going to go with the Longhorns. I have them in Omaha. I also think just like their Friday mismatch against Coastal with their pitching staff being down a little bit helps them. and they're going to show up with some fire on Saturday, getting that in-state rivalry against Baylor. And then we talked about the Ohio State pitching staff. I think they're going to be a lot better team overall than they were last year, but still on a Sunday against the Longhorns is going to be a tough matchup. So I'm going with Texas. Other teams before we move on that I'm kind of interested to watch is Baylor has shown some good signs early. I'm kind of interested to see how they match up this weekend, as well as UTSA coming off a huge sweep at home against DBU. We'll see them get the matchup against some quality competition here.
Yeah, and this is a good point from Dat Sicko in the YouTube chat right now. This is free to watch. They stream it to their YouTube channel. You can find it at Houston Astros. You can find it on Twitter. They stream it there for free. You can find this in a multitude of ways for free. Yeah, so shout out to these guys.
I was actually just looking at that. I just randomly pulled up Ole Miss's baseball schedule, and you can go to their page and they link you to the feed on the page. Yeah, they don't do that for every game, so that's pretty awesome. And I imagine it's the same. I haven't checked everyone else's, but I think that's probably available. Delta, what do you think about the Bruce Bolt challenge here? Who you got?
Yeah, I think as a team to go undefeated, I got to go with the alma mater. Even though
well played.
I'll go Ole Miss here. I will say I'm really excited to see Kate Townsend throw. Missouri State and Nevada are great, and granted, Ohio State isn't the most formidable lineup in the world, but I think he has something that's like 16 strikeouts and like 8 innings, somewhere around there. What he's done so far, but he looked great. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play a Power 5 opponent. And then as far as a team to watch, I was really impressed. I was in Round Rock last weekend with Baylor's arms. I don't have them winning, against Ole Miss or Texas, maybe against UTSA, but they're Friday, Saturday guys. It's Steven Stahl looked great against Oregon State last week. And then Ethan Calder left the game up 5-1 against Purdue before Purdue came back and walked it off on them. So I think, that's kind of the storyline looking ahead to a Big 12, that with the possible loss of Tommy Lepore seems to be a little wide open. I think they could, work their way up. I wouldn't say as like a contender to win, but just as a team that could steal some weekend series with the arms they have.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate doing this. I feel like this is entrapment. It's like he's making me take the Longhorns here. When I look at the path, when I look at the injuries that Coastal has, you have to take, to me, I think Texas, the team I'm most curious to watch is UTSA because their record's really good, but I don't know how good they really are. I know Patrick Hallmark's got this team looking good so far, but they did lose the Battle of I-35, another interstate battle there against Texas State the other night. But yeah, Longhorns, unfortunately, hook them. I like the matchups. I really do. All right, next up, let's jump over to the college baseball series. I was trying to say the
bank, Amagi Bank.
Yes. At the same time, I said college baseball.
Hip. Yeah. I was not hip to knowing how to pronounce it either a week ago, so I don't blame you at all.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Look at this. We pick one team to go 3-0 here, right? Bieniek, what lead the way, buddy? Where's this at again, too? Where's this at?
Yeah, we'll do the same exercise. One team to go 3-0 and one team to watch. And yeah, this is at Globe Life Field down there in Arlington. The first game, again, YouTube, we've got the schedule here ready to go for you with the game times as well. This will be viewable on Flow Sports, 11 a.m. Central, Arizona State and Mississippi State. How about that for the Sun Devils? Hey, head out to Globe Life in Texas and play a game at 9 a.m. Local time. Yeah. Congrats. And then UCLA today had batting practice at 10 a.m., local time. So I don't know what's going on with the timing and everything here, but UCLA plays the second game at 3 Central against Tennessee, and then the nightcap is Virginia Tech. Shout out to them for landing the Friday night showcase game against Texas A&M. The Saturday night showcase game is the preseason number 1 overall team against Texas A&M, who should probably have the bigger crowd or the biggest crowd down there in Arlington. I think Mississippi State could give them a little bit of a challenge. I'm surprised that Hail State didn't get a 1 night game, but I think they're playing to the Aggies crowd, expecting a little bit of them. And Saturday, it's probably going to be 80% Aggies in that crowd. For me, the team that go 3-0, I'm going to stick with A&M. It's a little bit of a surprise. A lot of people really love this tournament here, and on paper it looks fantastic. I've got a little bit of cold feet on a couple of teams here in Tennessee and Mississippi State specifically, just because we've already kind of seen me be rationalized with Tennessee losing the weekend series to Kent State. In weekend 2, I think they are looking to bounce back this weekend, and they probably could be able to with a win against Arizona State or Virginia Tech. And Mississippi State, I've voiced my opinion on them a couple of times from the preseason episodes that we've done or the first 2 weeks here, but they haven't played quality competition yet for me to change the opinion. So I'm really interested in watching Hail State this weekend against Arizona State, Virginia Tech, and UCLA to see what they can offer me this year. But A&M, I think, is the surprise team for me. If they can dodge a Brett Renfro shove game on Friday night, because he got blown up by Rutgers last week, and this is a kid with loads of talent on the mound. But I'll take A&M's offense. Like last weekend, they were uncharacteristically shut down by Penn. I think the Quakers actually have a pretty good pitching staff, because in every other game that A&M's played this year, they've lit up the scoreboard. Caden Sorrell's an excellent hitter, and I think they have a favorable draw. They have the night games with the crowd. Give me A&M as the 3-0 team here, JP.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit here with Paul T in the chat. I don't know if anyone goes 3-0 or undefeated this weekend, to be honest with you. I think if you're asking me the team that I want to go 3-0 this weekend, it's Hail State. I'm with you. I'm also interested to see how they match up against their first time playing some real competition. But I think this fan base is going to come hot and ready. They've been waiting for some big time baseball to be back in Starkville, and they got high hopes for this team. So give me the Dogs to go in there and make a statement this weekend. Team I'm most excited to watch, being a Big 12 guy myself, the Arizona State Sun Devils. They had a great squad last year. There's been some talks about some of their starting pitching and their arms this year, and also the bats. They really opened up some eyes, taking down the Oklahoma Sooners 15-3 in that midweek. I know they dropped the next one 3-4, but definitely opened some eyes there. I'm kind of interested to see them. And then also, I'm sure someone will talk about the Vols here at some point, but big bounce back opportunity for them after dropping the home series against Kent State. We'll see how Elander and the boys respond.
Real quick before we get to Delta Dimes, how about that? I didn't know that was a maroon Hill State script shirt. We've got that, and then Delta is also rocking the Ole Miss shirt. College sports at its finest. And come on,
he hates us. He hates us already.
Burns my ears.
We weren't supposed to do this on the first appearance. But Delta, what are you doing here besides fading Mississippi State?
Yeah, so it does pain me to say as like a double Mississippi State hater. They were one of my picks for Omaha this year. However, for my teams to go 3-0, I think I'm going to go hot take. I'm not as sold on UCLA as everyone else. And this, flip it. It could be a freezing cold take, come June 25th or whatever day it is. But 3-0, I'm going to go Tennessee. Big bounce back spot. I think Elander gets the guys up for it. They have 3 frontline starting pitchers that would be a Friday guy on almost any team. their Sunday guy Blanco didn't look great last week, walked a lot, but he was the Friday guy at UVA. So I'm going to go Tennessee as my team to go 3-0. One team to watch, I think I'll go with what JP said, is Arizona State. Haven't played much competition yet this year. Didn't leave Phoenix until, midweek game in Oklahoma. They had Cole Klecker going on the midweek, who is probably, the best midweek starter of anyone in the nation in a game with like 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So I don't want to put too much stock into beating Oklahoma, although they did choke game 2 yesterday as well. So should have won both of those. But I'm interested to see outside of Carlone. I really like Carlone, but the other 2 starters, Friday and Sunday, just interested to see how they go up against 2 much better offenses in Tennessee and A&M.
Yeah, and to your point there, I guess on UCLA and why none of us yet have picked them to go 3-0. It's a tough schedule draw for them. They get all 3 SEC teams here in Arlington with Tennessee, A&M, and Hail State. So that's a tough prediction for them to go 3-0 there. Colby, are you going to do it?
Well, first I just want to address Dylan's comment, because I do have the Dallas Baptist game on right now, as Jake Bennett just with a walk-off bomb on an 0-2 count.
And we're on to the island.
Yeah,
That's a hard ticket, baby.
Yeah, let's go. Hail State was the. I mean, I could see it being a challenge for all these teams, as JP said, but Hail State was the one that stood out to me as will be my pick to go 3-0 if gun to my head here. But if you're telling me who am I most interested in seeing, I actually think it's the Vols. Just with all that's happened to that program, I'm excited to see what they can do, especially opening night there against UCLA. I would say that's the one that really catches my eye. And the Arizona State, the Virginia Tech game. Okay, maybe that one doesn't really move the needle for me, but we'll see. But yeah, give me Hail State. Let's move along. I'm sorry. Close your. You can cover your ears, Delta, when I say that. But Mike Leach was a friend of ours. Rest in peace. So just always tied to Hail State a little bit there. Next up, we have the Frisco Baseball Classic. I mean, what a great weekend of baseball action, folks. Alabama, Oregon State, Iowa, and Houston. Bieniek, Frisco, Texas, Riders Field. Break it down for the people.
Yeah, it's just a round robin schedule. Everybody plays everybody once this weekend. Should be pretty interesting. I think I'll take Oregon State as my 3-0 bounce back team. I think a lot of people have cold feet on them coming into this one, just with how unimpressive, uninspiring the offense has looked so far. But the pitching staff's been stellar as expected. And I think if you look at the competition that they've played so far, most of those teams that they've played have strong pitching identities. Whereas I look at all 3 of these teams that they're about to play this weekend, and I don't necessarily see that. So I think the Beavers have a good draw to get back on the right side of things. I think they have a good shot of going 3-0. The team that I am excited to watch this weekend, not necessarily because they have something to prove. It's just I haven't watched them yet this year because they haven't played anybody with a pulse, I don't believe, and that's Alabama. Like, their offense so far has looked really good from highlights and everything. Justin LeBron's been off to an incredible start, and I think if there's one team that's going to challenge OSU for a 3-0 weekend, it would be the Crimson Tide. JP, how about you?
Yeah, I love Oregon State in a bounce back spot this weekend. I totally agree with you. The offense has struggled, but this is a very small sample size against some pretty decent competition to start the year. This is not a bad offense. I really like them to bounce back. I also think, I'm with you. Like, it might not be the firepower that we've seen in some Oregon State offenses in the past, but I don't think it's a bad offense. I also think, I'll go with the Beavers here. Bama could make some noise bouncing back from Southern Miss. Like you said, I'm kind of interested to see. The only team they've played that's really good was Southern Miss, and they did end up kind of getting their ass kicked. Tough spot midweek at the Peay. Team I'm most interested to watch, though, got to be the Houston Cougars. They've been in kind of a tough spot in that program recently, really been struggling in a place where I think is a great facility and just a great spot to land some great recruits and have a good baseball program. We saw them open eyes with their opening day win against Wake Forest. And this is probably their best competition to date since then. So I'm excited to watch another one of my Big 12 teams match up against some solid competition here.
Delta, your thoughts? And UTRGV, by the way, dealing Houston that sweep. Your thoughts, Delta.
Yeah, first I just want to make sure we get Paul T. Band in the chat. He said Southern Miss could be sneaky here. This is the Iowa Hawkeye logo. Southern Miss, actually, copyright issues, had to change their logo. It used to be a more round, I probably have one around here, logo, and they had to change it to the one now that's a little like sharper, more elongated, like 10, 12 years ago. So, not Southern Miss.
That's maybe he's had a few cocktails. I'm gonna chalk that one up, or maybe some herbal essence or something. But Paul, we love you here. But as a Southern Miss fan that Delta Dimes is, that's pretty offensive. I think just saying the Iowa Hawkeyes. Anyway, continue on Delta Times.
Yeah, but as far as team to go 3-0 here, I'm just gonna follow the pack. Oregon State. I mean, you can't beat. Well, Southern Miss beat Kleinschmidt, but you can't beat Dax Whitney and Kleinschmidt on a Friday, Saturday. The bullpen needs to figure it out a little bit. They struggled. Almost blew the game on Friday after Dax struck out 17-7. So bullpen needs to figure it out. Frisco is a park historically that plays pretty well for runs. I went back and looked at last year, and it was 15.5 runs a game. So I think, it is a ballpark where they could figure it out. And then as far as a team to watch, I think Alabama for me, Tyler Fay specifically, he's been pretty pedestrian to start the season. Opening night loss to Wazoo, which Wazoo is a decent team, former Pac-12 team. And I think this is a get-right spot for him, hopefully. Iowa's offense has been solid. But, I think watching Alabama, their pitchers, especially after getting, embarrassed in Hattiesburg on Tuesday, I think that's something going into SEC play I kind of want to have my eye on, just see what the pulse is there.
Yeah. Wish I could say something more shocking. I was hoping you guys were going to say Alabama or Houston, or Noah Petiti just going to jump on the Hawkeyes, but I can't. Oregon State. I am a little biased because I always kind of root for the Beavs. So
nice Beaver.
I will go with Oregon State, and the team I'm most excited to see. JP, I feel like I'm copying all your plays, man. It's Houston. I know. Look, I know I came in thinking Alabama could be a sleeper in the SEC, but Houston after the Puerto Rico win there over Wake and stuff. Although I did watch the UT Rio Grande take it to him, but Houston would be the team that I'm most curious about in this one here. Moving forward, next up we have the Las Vegas College Baseball Classic. This is at Las Vegas Ballpark. The Oregon Ducks, quack, quack. The Arizona Wildcats, shout out to David Matola in the chat. And the Vanderbilt Commodores. And then the Anteaters of UC Irvine, all in this classic here. Bieniek, lead us off.
Yeah, so first, the elephant in the room with this get together is that games have basically averaged like 20 runs a game in the previous two seasons, the previous two iterations of this tournament. The ball flies in the hot, dry air out there in Las Vegas. And in the last 2 years, most of the days in the weekend have had like 15, 20 mile an hour gusts of wind. We're not necessarily expecting to see that this year. I was checking yesterday and it was around like 5 miles an hour gusts for all 3 days expected around game times. So I don't think we're going to get weather helping out overs in this one. And I also don't think you're going to get pitching staffs that are going to help the overs much at all. Like if you look at Vanderbilt, one of the best pitching staffs and pitching programs in the country year after year. Look at Arizona. Offense is kind of down this year so far. It's been actually a little bit worse than down. It's been pitiful. But the pitching staff's strong. And then UC Irvine's got one of the best pitching staffs out of any mid-major in the country. And their offense can be spotty at sometimes. So I think those three teams are really going to make it tough for these overs that I'm expecting to come at like 17.5, 18, just because we've seen that so much over the last couple of years here in this Las Vegas Classic. So that's what I wanted to get off my chest most here. The team that I think could play the most offensively is Vanderbilt, actually. They're top 5 in home runs right now, and I think it's a lot to do with Jason Esposito, who they added as a hitting coach in the offseason. He was previously working in the MLB, and just completely is given this offense a whole new identity. And it hasn't been like because they added new players. It's just been, a switch in philosophy, and they've been hitting for more power this year. They've been more aggressive in counts. So I like Vanderbilt, and I like the team to watch. I mean, Arizona's got to wake up. That's the no-brainer. Like, we've got to see some signs of life, because even I say their strength's the pitching, but Kramkowski hasn't been super sharp, and they're still looking for some guys to emerge in that bullpen. Delta Dimes, how about you in this Las Vegas Classic here?
Yeah, no, I feel like you took a lot of the words out of my mouth there. I think 3-0 team would be Vanderbilt on top of the hitting. I think Birdie Johnston's tied for the league lead with 6 so far. But they also pitch, to swing and miss. Connor Fennell's one of the best K per 9 guys with whatever he does with that 91, 89 mile an hour fastball. I still don't know how he does it. Yeah, I would say Vanderbilt's my team to go 3-0. Team I'm looking forward to watch is one of those contenders in the Big Ten, Oregon. They've mashed the ball to start the season and looked really well, although against, some subpar competition. So I'm looking to see how their arms hold up, which, Vegas, I think the ballpark factor was like 130 or something when I checked the other day. Isn't the ideal place to, measure a pitching staff, but I think that would be, the team to watch for me, kind of how those arms translate. But yeah.
So I know you texted me beforehand that you had the 10:40. You got to leave to go to the airport. So before you head out of here, I want to say thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun. We appreciated your insight and analysis.
Of course.
Do you have any Friday best bets or locks that you're looking at here?
Best bets and locks. I never use the word lock. Nothing is a lock.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would be one of those.
Two of the things I've locked in. I already took Charlotte on the money line at -140 for 1 unit, and then I took a Texas Coastal Carolina money line parlay for 2 units. It was +106 earlier on DK.
I was Texas and Clemson, right?
Oh, Texas and Clemson. Sorry. You're right.
Just wanted to make sure the people.
No. You're right. That is what it is. I misspoke. Texas Clemson was +106 on the money line for 2 units. And then as far as none of the totals, I just refreshed DK here, are out yet. But a couple of the unders I will be having a close pulse on is going to be Nebraska, Auburn, which we talked about. And then UCSB, Utah, Jackson, Flora versus McAnally for Utah. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Possibly Southern Miss and La Tech, depends on where it's at. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Cal Poly and USC are kind of the 4 totals. If they're in that 11.5 range, ideally, I'll definitely play them. A couple of them I'll play at 10.5. And then as far as an account, I have not heard. I appealed, as I mentioned earlier. No word back on what I did or when it'll be resolved. But if I don't have an account back, I'm going to send my card to Crutch Bets, friend of the program, and he'll tweet it out for me. And if I don't hear anything tomorrow, then I will probably get a move on with just making an alternate account of some sort. I haven't decided exactly what I'll name it yet, but it'll be some variation of Delta Dimes. And I'll message the guys here. I have, their phone number, so they'll know it's the right one and it's not a fake. And also, as I've mentioned, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let us know. Like, we will help promote that. If so, whatever
Yeah.
that account is, we will throw it in there every time, whether you're on the show or not. So appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And if there are any fakes, I don't think it's popular enough for any fakes to arise. But everything will always be, free for the people. So if anyone asks you, tries to pay for something, it's
Don't do it.
definitely not me.
Amen.
So-
Amen, brother. There we go.
But yeah, enjoyed being on. Look forward to watching the rest of the show a little bit later.
Heck yeah. And we will plug whatever account you go to, man. Thank you and safe travels to where you're going.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. See you guys.
No
See you,
doubt. Take
Delta.
care, brother. Shout out to the great Delta Devils, who I'm just going to call them the Delta Devils now. But that's what he should go as, Bieniek.
Yeah,
He should come back as the Delta Devils.
Devils.
Yeah.
I think he's Delta as in for Southern Miss or the area that he lives. I don't know if he's a Mississippi Valley State fan, but Delta Devils.
Yeah,
it's solid.
And shout out to Paul. He's got to run too. His kids are up. He's buzzed, my guy. Hey, well, have a wonderful day or night wherever you're at, brother. And thanks for tuning into us. As going back to the Vegas Classic here. I mean, this is deer in the cage with Vanderbilt, right? I mean, it just feels like deer in the cage. But I'm most interested in watching UCI. Like, okay, Arizona's looked like ass doo-doo play so far this season. Oregon's appealing a little bit to me, but then again, I think about Noah Petiti. I think about what the Big Ten is trying to do to sport, and I say I can't get interested in that. So give me UC Irvine, all right? And Vanderbilt's the deer in the cage. I think they're coming out of this thing. Bieniek, what's going on with your boy Petiti, huh?
I don't know. I don't
pushing
subscribe
papers.
to that. No, that the white paper or whatever. No, white isn't the color white supposed to be or represent purity, and then they're pushing this propaganda and bullshit. I mean, you
don't start me lying. Right?
You also have JP on the show, who's like a mid-major guy at heart and played at Cincy, who's in the Big 12. I doubt he's a fan of this motion too. So.
Yeah.
What motion are we? What are we talking
there's
about?
Some news came out a couple hours ago about the Big Ten and SEC.
Big Ten and SEC are anti, combining or eliminating the Sports Broadcasting Act. So
they're trying to keep the power and fuck over all the small sports in college sports, essentially. Yeah. So. Please, Greg Sankey and Tony Petiti, please eat a bomb. All right. Next up,
you want to hit the ad before we jump into individual games?
Good call. Folks, I want to tell you that the college baseball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, which does have college baseball action. We're having a ton of fun with Underdog Fantasy, whether it's college hoops, college baseball, UFL. I mean, hell, I hit for over $1,000 last year at UFL. I hate that league, but there's still opportunity. There's still opportunity for stuff to make some cash. So that's just Underdog has every sport, just about pick them for every single sport. Underdog has also increased their payouts to 2 pick entries now. All right, so pay 3.5 times. 2 pick entries pay 3.5 times the amount. And what we hit on last night with college hoops, 3 pick entries pay out at 6.5 times. Unbelievable stuff they're doing there at Underdog Fantasy. They got a brand new offer for new customers. Play $5, get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code. That is TCESGPN. So do that and let it ride. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. With Novig, you're getting the best prices. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code. That is SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back. The Trojans have opened up the lead a little bit to 3-0 now.
I've got a game for you, I think, to put on. I got to check to see if it's still
right
live.
now.
Yes. So on the WCC network, if you go to the website, I'm sure San Jose State and St. Mary's are in the 13th inning.
Ooh. I will grab that. Wait, I'm gonna see if they have an app because that's not on the Mountain West, right? That's on.
No, St. Mary's.
They used to be in cahoots they were in cahoots for a year, and then then
St. Mary's
bad
are the
blood.
home team. So I think it's either WCC.com or ESPN Plus, probably.
Yeah, they don't have an app for WCC, so I'm gonna have to check the
USC and Cal Poly's on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got a 9 TV setup here to the right, so I got that one
Just
on.
a subtle flex.
Well, I mean, look, I got the college hoops games that are all. There's some great college hoops action going on as well. So it's just a beautiful mix of college sports.
Yeah, and Thursday's the big West slate, so that's fun.
Are you sure this game's still on?
Maybe not.
I'm seeing it available on demand.
Warren Nolan says it's still going, but maybe it is done. Maybe it just ended.
Yeah, I think maybe that was the case. It might have just ended.
There you go.
All right, so Arlington, Texas. What's up? What's up?
Someone
JP?
said that game is over. They called it, and they're going to finish it tomorrow because it was getting too dark. I'm not joking.
Oh, they must not have lights on their field.
That's where you get the headlights. Everyone get their car, turn the headlights on.
Yeah.
All right. What time's the Hawaii game tonight? 8.
Was it 11:35?
Yeah.
For them 8 o'clock, right?
8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
I will be.
I think it's 5:35 for their time.
Say.
Okay, that's right. That's right because they're not Pacific. Yeah. I'm gonna have to. Are you guys on the Rainbow Warriors?
I am.
Yeah, we wrote. Unironically, I didn't even know, but yeah, we both bet the same thing today. DBU and Hawaii moneyline parlay. So
let's go. Arizona State, Mississippi State, and Arlington. We talked about this earlier. Mississippi State's minus 195 on the money line. Arizona State at plus 150. Don't love the value on Hail State after I just said they're going to sweep the board. But Bieniek, I'm curious what you're doing here. But my first thought would be like, I kind of have to ride State after saying that, even though I don't love. I'm just going to tell my clientele out there, which I really care about, to maybe sit this one out. But what are you doing here, Bieniek?
Yeah, this is one that caught my eye early on. I don't think that the gap is this big between these two teams right now. And I know that I'm, in the lesser percentage of thinking, or I guess on the other side of the standard deviation of just thinking that I'm not. I think Arizona State's closer to Arizona State, or I think Mississippi State is closer to Arizona State in rankings or power ratings than Mississippi State is closer than LSU, like a lot of other people have them. So that's kind of my thought process on this. And plus, or minus 195, which basically 2-1 Mississippi State. I just don't necessarily agree with that right now. And I'm very interested in watching them this weekend to see if they're able to change kind of my thought process on how I'm approaching them. But Cole Carlone's a dude on Fridays for Arizona State. High 90s lefty with some really good off speed. So far this season, he's been elite. 11 innings, 12 strikeouts, just 3 walks with a 164 ERA. Last year, he was their closer, and he was great. Had 86 strikeouts and 54 innings with only 25 walks and a 333. This kid's just dealt over the last 2 years plus, and I'm a fan. And I think he's got more proven college production than anything that Mississippi State's going to show him in the first few innings here. Ryan McPherson's expected to go for the Bulldogs, but I think the Sun Devils coming off a midweek loss against Oklahoma, that will only help, I think, motivation there for ASU. I'm not a huge Willie Bloomquist guy. I have not fired on actually anything yet, to be honest. I was putting together all the artwork for Colby in this package while he was doing the college basketball show, so I haven't bet anything officially. But this is one that I'm definitely eyeing, and I have some hesitation of pulling the trigger. JP, are you willing to talk me into it?
I'm not willing to talk you into it. At least if you're talking Arizona State.
Yeah, that would be.
I will say we're one card in. The graphics look great today. We have clean money lines. Everything's reading correctly. So
it took an extra 15 minutes. So hopefully it all looks good.
Really glad we got that nailed down for this week.
We're a Major League Baseball team, right?
And we're contenders now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Continue, JP.
The Dogs will be throwing Ryan McPherson. He was a freshman out of the bullpen last year. He threw up a 4 ERA, which could have been a little bit inflated. He only had a 190 batting average against, a really solid year. This year in 2 starts, he has gotten through 10 innings pitched with a 2.7 ERA. Last week against Delaware, he went 6 innings and 11 strikeouts. He absolutely shoved it. As you can see, am pulling for Hail State here. I want them to win. I think they do find a way to pull this out. I know Bieniek's talking about Carlin, but we're also not talking about that he has to face Ace Reese tomorrow, who is, in my opinion, the best hitter in the country. So minus 195, not good enough odds for me to pull the trigger on that. I might look for an under here because I do think that both starting pitchers are going to have pretty good performances.
Yeah, and before we move on, I know Colby still has to give his pick. I'm going to screen record on my end a couple of videos for the next slide that we're going to have. I have something up my sleeve, and I trust that JP will be able to talk for like 2 minutes on that game. But Colby, give your pick here.
Well, sorry, my pick is Mississippi State. I don't know if I made that clear or not. Sorry.
No. You said there's no value into betting that, just like I did, which my pick is Mississippi State. We both picked Mississippi State as our team to potentially sweep the board there, but I don't love the play because you're getting just terrible odds on this. So maybe you could talk me into the under, but yeah, Hail State will be my pick. The chat is also saying a couple things here. Our midweek games, usually bullpen games in the early season. Shout out to Steven. What would you guys say to that on Wednesday when he asked me this last night at the ECU game? So what would you say to that? Because I was like, I don't think so unless it's a gigantic game, right?
I think it depends on how deep the pitching staff is, especially early on in the year. You might see a lot more bullpen games during the midweek just because you're testing some guys out and no one has that, or not everyone has that 4th established starter. I think you see that change as the season goes on. You might see more of a rhythm of having a starter in the midweek, but definitely early on, it's not too crazy to see some of these bullpen games or just short starts.
Yeah. And then how about sites or apps to bet college baseball? Well, I mean, what state are you in, Dominic? Because we recommend I'd say majority of the time DK or Circa. Am I missing, like, JP, you're in Colorado. Is there one that you use more? I mean, I know we were kind of shitting on FanDuel.
Yeah, I use I also use BetMGM, and Fanatics have been pretty solid as well.
Yeah, BetMGM, Fanatics, check it out. But you definitely want to diversify because sometimes you can really find an edge, especially when it comes to college sports in general. But college baseball, which is a sport that I feel like is growing in popularity, but still kind of undercovered, so you can really see some differences sometimes. Moving forward to the next game while Bieniek does this stuff. Oh boy, what do we got here? Nice artwork. The Mountain Dew. Wait a second. The Diet Mountain Dew Classic.
Yep. This is ChatGPT created. My Bearcats are hosting the Austin Peay Governors this weekend, and both of these head coaches have advocated their love for Diet Mountain Dew, and it's both gone public. I myself, as a huge fan, just kind of took this thing by the horns and have been running with it. I've been promoting this thing as the Diet Mountain Dew Classic.
I love it.
Austin Peay Governors are headed to Cincinnati this weekend for the Diet Mountain Dew Classic.
Now I've never had. I don't know that I've ever had Diet Mountain Dew. How far off is it? Is it like? Because there are sometimes I try a diet beverage, and I'm like, they kind of nailed it as far as close to the original. But then there's sometimes you try it and you're like, what the hell is that? Right? Is that how far is it degrees off from the taste of the normal Mountain Dew? I'm not talking Code Red or anything. I'm talking regular Mountain Dew. How far off would you say?
It's not crazy to me. I think like the regular Mountain Dew is super, super sugary, and you like I feel it on my teeth. So I feel like the Diet Mountain Dew does a pretty solid job of capturing the flavor, except not with all the sugar and stuff that's going to stick to your mouth. So I'd say they do a pretty good job.
That is true. Sometimes I've been in West Virginia and I've just assumed these people did a bunch of meth, and they're just like, no, just love Mountain Dew, with their lack of teeth. But and by the way, shout out to Moneyline Mac, who was at the WV baseball game yesterday. He is very bullish, dude. He came into the basketball show last night, saying, I think we can get to Omaha. And I'm like, well,
really?
Dude, you went to one game. Who were they playing again? Who were they playing last night? It was like
they played Ohio U.
They played Ohio, and I was like, relax, buddy, relax. All right, but he's already thinking, hey, we can go all the way. We can go all the way this year. You got to love fan bases, but I mean, how about this Diet Mountain Dew Classic? What is the governor's chances to knock off your boys, JP?
I mean, I think it depends on who they slate their starters as, because right now going into the weekend, their Friday starter has like a 10 ERA, and has only gotten through like 3 innings, and their Saturday and Sunday guy have looked pretty decent. Sunday guy has a 0 ERA, and this team's only hitting 233 on the year, but they can always rake. They have for the past couple of years under Fanning. So I expect them to kind of swing the bats a little bit this weekend against, I don't know, a pitching staff for the Bearcats who had a really good week 1 and then struggled a little bit against a scrappy UAB team last week. I think it's going to be a great series. At the end of the day, Cincinnati will have the edge and the depth of the pitching. So I think they're definitely going to take the series, but I would not be shocked at all if the Governors find a way to scratch one this weekend for sure.
There we go. Bieniek, any thoughts on this Diet Mountain Dew Classic?
Oh, it should be great content. That's the first.
Yeah,
thought.
I just love the photo here of like taking a 2-liter to the face.
Yeah.
So the funny story about this picture is this is actually right after he was ejected from a game. He is right at home plate talking to one of the umpires with a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. It's awesome. But no, I have a contact. Hopefully they don't hear this yet, because
he personalized the video to you on Twitter. That was great.
Yeah, he did. I had him on the show a year or 2 ago, which he's an awesome guy. But yes. I got our Dobo at Cincinnati to. I'm gonna have a full 24 pack of Diet Mountain Dew in both dugouts tomorrow from the podcast. So I'm pumped to surprise those guys tomorrow.
That's fantastic. And what I love here, when you guys tell me this build up to this photo, and shout out to Trevor, says
I have the video. I was trying to load it entirely, but here I'll just end up screen sharing it. We won't have volume. I have another video after this that will end up getting shared, but here real quick.
YouTube.com/The College Experience. Jump on over there, hit that like and subscribe button.
So this is context behind Roland Fanning, who's the head coach of Austin Peay. So they give up a bomb, right? And they end up, pulling the pitcher or whatever. This right-hander comes in relief, and he pegs this, or maybe just buzzed him inside. So he's going to get ejected here. The pitcher's pissed off. And Roland Fanning, the head coach of Austin Peay, comes out to argue the call. Pitcher's mouthing off to the umpire. Coaches are getting in arguments from the dugout, yelling at each other. And here's the kid that got ejected. He's walking out to the bus, and then the camera just pans back to this legend who's just chugging.
Yeah,
we lost it.
The video went away. Yeah.
What? Oh, hold on. That's weird. All right. Try it again. So the video just pans. So this kid gets ejected, and the camera shows him walking away. Yeah, he's walking to the bus, and then the camera just pans to this legend holding a 2-liter of Diet Mountain Dew. and shrinking it on the field. So, and then they got the camera still on the kid entering the bus, and then there goes Fanning with his 2-liter Mountain Dew.
It just makes me think of like there's a scene of Big Lebowski where they get in an argument, and he's like, "I'm just gonna sit here and drink my coffee."
So
all right, he's pissed off everybody, so he's like, "I'm just gonna sit here and drink my Mountain Dew. Fuck you, fuck you." What were you gonna say?
So this clip was from 2023, and the account for 11.7, who Dimitri ended up clipping this and posting it like 3 or 4 years ago, whenever this was, the account's grown like 5x. So this was like freaking huge for college baseball posts a couple of years ago. So 830K views on that. And then I couldn't find the exact, video or interview it was originally, because it was a Big 12 tournament. But just every time that he was caught on camera, Jordan Bischel, the head coach of Cincinnati, he just had his can of Diet Mountain Dew next to him. So ESPN was like, okay, bring that onto the camera this time. And they interviewed him, and they were basically like, can you shotgun that? And he's like, no, maybe in my 30s that would be possibly, but not anymore. That would be too immature of myself or whatever. And then he also called it the drink of champions. And that gets us to JP's podcast clip here, where he's interviewing Coach Bischel about the Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, and once again, the Head First podcast. Subscribe and check it out. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So hopefully the volume plays here.
No.
Can you hear it?
No.
Damn it, dude. I don't know why that's not working. Because, yeah, you couldn't hear the volume on the shared or whatever, right?
No, could not.
Say
So
short reference that I do remember is that he opened it up saying that he would put he said he's not sure what Vegas has it at, but he would put himself at minus 150 for the weekend. And I said, are you talking about the baseball or the Mountain Dew? And he said he did not care at all about the baseball. He's talking about the Mountain Dew drinking. So he expects himself to come out on top in that fashion.
Very much looking forward to this series.
The taste of a new generation. And shout out to Abner jumping in the chat. Jensen at work, but it came by to say hi. And he's been Abner. We talked Florida, Miami. He's a Canes baseball fan. Very excited about the possibilities of taking down the rivals that are the Gators. But yes, and shout out to Feels Bad Man. This is the kind of content I truly appreciate. Yes. I might have to go get a case of Diet Mountain Dew just to match them. All right, so just to match them there.
The Head First podcast is must follow this week, because they have all the inside scoop on what's going down.
We'll have our other two guys live at the games for the whole series, so we'll have some more content to come for sure.
Hell yeah, check it out, folks. At headfirst_pod on Twitter. Next up, boys, we got Jacksonville. The Dolphins swimming upstream to Birmingham, Alabama. Take on these UAB Blazers. UAB laying minus 120, Jacksonville minus 110 on the money line. Am I just ridiculous to I've caught UAB now twice. Who did they beat yesterday? Was it Charleston? Who did they beat? No, it wasn't Charleston. ECU beat Charleston. In the past couple of days, they beat somebody.
My Bearcats on Thursday and Friday last week.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yep.
They look pretty legit, right? I mean, like, I'm kind of sold on them. I mean, to be fair, I have not watched the Jacksonville Dolphins this year. So maybe I'm missing out that the Dolphins can play good ball. But why would I not take UAB minus 120 here, guys? Bieniek, your thoughts first, because to me it seems like something I should jump right on.
The Dolphins can play good ball. They're one of the better programs in the ASUN, along with Stetson and Austin Peay. This year, they've started 8-1 against 3 projected NCAA tournament teams. Rhode Island was the preseason favorite in the A10, and they slaughtered them in 4 games. And then they also swept Long Island in a 4-game set. They're the favorite in the NEC, at least preseason wise. Their one loss this year is to Florida State, who's also probably going to be an NCAA tournament team. So they've played really good competition up until this point. And UAB, albeit 5-4, they own Friday wins against Florida and Cincinnati. They've knocked off Liam Peterson and Nathan Taylor two of the better Friday night guys you're going to see. Nathan Taylor actually threw the Thursday game. That's why I stuttered there for a second. But they ended up beating them on Friday, too. They won the first two of the 4-game set. So UAB has been there, done that against some of the better arms this year. And I think that the inflated ERA for their starter in Mason Steele kind of, exemplifies the tough competition they've played on Fridays so far in Cincy in Florida, because he's carrying a 7 ERA into this game. Whereas Alex Walsh, he's a Miami Hurricanes transfer, very solid so far this season in 9.1 innings. He's only surrendered 1 run. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. Give me UAB. I just think that they've knocked off 2 of the better pitchers in the country. Why can't they knock off Jacksonville here?
Yeah, I'm also going with UAB here. Looking at Jacksonville's resume did scare me a little bit, but I watched this UAB team all week last week, and they're really scrappy. 1 through 9, they run the bases really well and manufacture runs, bunt well, do a lot of the things that Cincinnati does on offense. And yeah, I agree. I think Mason Steele has some pretty good stuff. He held his own, honestly, better against Florida than he did against Cincinnati. I think, fortunately, that was just a game where Cincinnati has done a great job of just responding when runs get put up on the board. And when UAB got up on the board first, since he was able to just get a couple things going, I really like Mason Steele. I think he's got good stuff, and I like UAB being at home and to keep rolling on these Fridays. I actually just placed this as one of my bets on my card. So give me UAB.
Yeah. Shout out to Feels Bad Man 23. Casey Dunn is a good coach. It's taken him a little while to get UAB going, but he was fantastic at Samford. Yeah. No brainer here with the Blazers here. Let's go. Next up, we jump over to Tennessee UCLA. I talked about this. I thought it was most exciting first round matchup of the college baseball series there at Globe Life. UCLA's laying or minus 175. Tennessee's at plus 135 on the money line. I'm gonna take a shot on the Vols here, guys. I'm excited for this, but I think there's some value on the Vols, and as Delta was saying, is UCLA perhaps a little overrated? Bieniek, your thoughts, and I'll be right back.
All right, you're good. Yeah, for me, I think UCLA wins this game. I think that they have a good shot of going 3-0. It's just a tough schedule for me to get behind and truly stamp that. And of the 3 games, I'm most nervous about this one. I think that Tennessee's got a really good shot with Tegan Kuhns on the bump. Kuhns has been a good arm, solid with some talent. He had an excellent summer at the Cape with a 135 ERA and 13.1 innings. He's got a good heater, but so does Logan Redeman on the other side for UCLA. That's the one arm that they really, really do trust and think is elite for them this year. Also mid-90s fastball, and he's gotten off to a good start. In 10 innings, he's got 16 strikeouts, just 3 walks, a 3.60 ERA against UC San Diego and TCU, 2 very solid teams. And Tegan Kuhns has been elite, hasn't faced too much yet, and I think this is a really good test for him to see, or this could be a breakout for him. Against the number 1 team in the country, is he for real? That's the thing that I'm looking forward to in this matchup tomorrow. UCLA is my pick to win it. I think there's if you're looking for the value pick, Tennessee offers a little bit of that if you're looking for a plus money price. JP, how about you?
Yeah, I think this is a really good spot for Tennessee to bounce back. I don't know if I can quite get there to the point of pulling the trigger. With that being said, I don't think the value of UCLA minus 175 is there either. I mean, Kuhns has been absolutely lights out this year, and I think I might look to play, obviously, Tennessee in years past, and then what you've seen from UCLA early on. I think even though it's a Friday game, you may catch I don't know. I'm curious of what the over-under is going to be priced at, because in Globe Life with Kuhns on the mound, being able to keep it close, I may take a look at an under here.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, Bieniek, what was your pick there? Sorry, I had to just fix something really quick.
I think UCLA wins the game Tennessee at plus money is not the worst look in the world. I didn't give out UCLA or give out UCLA in the tournament picks portion to go 3-0 for that, a hypothetical there, because I thought they had a tough schedule. And the game that I was most nervous about is this one with Tennessee. I think that Tennessee has a real shot to win it, but it's just how real is Tegan Kuhn's, their Friday night starter. He had a great summer. Last year, he was okay when he started, not world-beating by any means, but he's got a really good opportunity to kind of, take the world by storm and really break out on one of the bigger platforms this weekend.
All right, next up, let's jump over to Boston College, taking on Florida Gulf Coast, formerly Dunk City, Fort Myers, Florida. BC's plus 120, so Power 5 school, or coming into a mid-major. Gulf Coast minus 154 on the run line. Bieniek, I have been a skeptic of Boston College athletics for 20 years now. Is there any reason why I should take Boston College plus 120 on the money line?
That reason would be AJ Colarusso. He's just a gamer, just a left-handed or crafty lefty there for the Eagles, who's a veteran. He's thrown 9 innings so far this year, hasn't allowed a single run. That would be your case for going with BC at plus money against Florida Gulf Coast. However, the Eagles have this guy named Evan Dempsey, who's like the best two-way player in college baseball. He's both a really good hitter and a really good pitcher. So far this season, he's hitting 375 with an 1137 OPS. And on the mound, he's got 19 strikeouts, 1 walk in 13 innings, hasn't allowed a single run. So this kid is the best white version of Shohei Ohtani that we have in college baseball. And we'll see him Friday afternoon in one of the better games.
That doesn't get me excited.
For BC.
I'm joking. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough game to pick.
I'm sorry.
It's truly a coin flip. So the best angle I can give those out there, we don't have the totals yet, but this is definitely an under for me.
Yeah, I'll go with Gulf Coast, but JP, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm rocking with Gulf Coast here. This team got off to an 8-0 start, and I tend to kind of get cold feet on these win streak games, right? Like, you don't want to just keep betting a team after they've won eight or 9 games in a row, especially in baseball. They drop a midweek on day 2 of the midweek, so they had a Tuesday and Wednesday. I think they kind of get back on track here and stay rolling at home. They've been at home like all year. They're comfortable right now, going with the Eagles. Yeah,
Eagles are my pick. I don't know if I gave a money line pick there.
Both teams are named the Eagles. So take Florida Gulf Coast.
Gulf Coast, sorry.
Yeah, FGCU. And Crutch Bets. He's saying
I see what they're doing
Brendan
there.
McKay.
Next week, the
Eagles.
record. Oh, I was on top of the Eagles. That was one of my wins. Well, I'm sorry.
Crutch Bet's saying a modern Brendan McKay, if you will. I just went Shohei for, the casuals, but Brendan McKay was one of my favorite players growing up in college baseball. And I don't have a super deep, going back years in college baseball fandom. It really only stems the College World Series from 2010 to 2019. And then after that, I got in deep. But Brendan McKay was one that I was truly hooked on for sure.
Yeah. Next up, let's jump over to the Gators. Canes. Abner's in the chat. He's at work trying to watch us. Hopefully he's not getting fired. Right. And this is one he wanted to know. He wanted to know like a week ago, Bieniek. He was hopping in the chat saying, what the hell?
Well, he thought they were playing Florida State too, but yes, he's very.
But he was also at the time, because his work, he doesn't live in San Diego, but he's out there for work. And, I know he was in the Navy for a while there. At the time, I think he was messaging us from a whorehouse in Tijuana. So
yeah.
I can't blame him for thinking the Florida State. He's probably just like, I love watching these guys. Let me just see. Oh, we got Florida State next. But no, it's the Gators, which he still hates. That's the best part about it. So it's not like you have to redirect your hate. I personally, I'm going to take the Gators to kind of lean into this already. But Bieniek, am I a fool for taking your boys, which I know you're fading long term here?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're necessarily a fool for this. Coach O'Sullivan's got a ridiculous record. I wasn't able to find it. It's out there for sure. There you go. Yeah. O'Sullivan's got a ridiculous record against Miami in his 10 plus years at Florida, and this is definitely a more bolder pick fading it, but I kind of like what I see from Miami, and I know it's a lot of empty calories. They haven't played anybody outside of the midweeks against UCF and FAU, but they're averaging 16 runs a game. Their pitching has been lights out. They're leading the country in strikeouts, and their offense has been putting the ball over the fence. They're leading the country in home runs. There's not much for me that I haven't seen or have seen that makes me believe in Miami less than I did in the preseason. And Florida, to me, like Delta Times said it when he was on the show, Liam Peterson's all over the place. He's not your typical Florida Friday night arm. And you would think that he'd be there by now. This is year 3 of him throwing on Friday nights for the Gators, but he just hasn't quite developed mentally in those spots. So give me Miami at home, big rivalry series. Place is going to be on fire here. And it's their time. Like I truly do believe that if it's any time, it's now for the Canes. So
can I give a Lee Corso not so fast right here?
Yes, you can.
We're giving slander on Liam Peterson not being mature in year 3 on a sample size of 2 starts. We've seen him. And this is a UAB offense that he had a shaky start against that we just talked about how much we liked. I mean, he went 3 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs. We're not talking about the fact that he bounces back against Kennesaw State, goes 5 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 12 strikeouts. I think that now I'm not saying he's going to be lights out all year, but I think the verdict is still out on the kid. We all know he's got great potential and really good stuff. The Gators money line, like I said before, is going to be on my card for tomorrow. I love them at plus money here. I'm also fading the fact of like what Bieniek just said. Miami's doing everything right now, and they've won 9 games in a row. And as awesome as that is, this is a game of baseball, and the trends always end up to even out. So if I can get the Gators at plus money against an undefeated Miami team, give it to me.
Yeah. I'm all over that as well, man. Gators are the play. Sorry, Abner. You're with Bieniek here. There's value on the Gators, who obviously have been fantastic in recent years. For
some reason, I can't find his direct record against Miami. He's got a 656 winning percentage against Miami.
What time is this game tomorrow? I got to watch this game.
7:00. And so he's got a 656 winning percentage against Miami. If you throw Florida State in that, he's 80-42 against Florida State and Miami. He's dominated the 2 rivals. And then his bio on his this is where I'm pulling it from on Florida's site. Adding Georgia to the mix, he's 107-62 against the school's 3 primary rivals. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty ridiculous. But I just want to alert you guys that right now USC is up 4-0. Cal Poly with 2 outs in the 7th has the bases loaded. USC going deep into the relief. They're. I have a hard time paying attention to you guys right now. But next up we have UC San Diego. Man, I was looking at you guys. I was in Lafayette, Louisiana, checking out the football stadium, which is cool. It's the original swamp. Don't let the Florida fans tell you it's the real swamp, because Louisiana's been calling it the swamp for longer. But I didn't realize how awesome the baseball stadium is.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's awesome.
Oh my God. I've been staring at Google Images of this baseball stadium for like 4 days in a row now. I'm just like, This thing is great.
No, that's why I've taken them in some of these Friday night matchups at home. You need to find like when they get the crowd going there too. They tailgate.
I went deep sea diving, dude. I was YouTube videoing like this. The crowd seems pretty awesome too. So I watched them actually sweep Maryland. That's what started it. Actually, what started it was Maryland was beating them. Great game, by the way. Absolutely great game. I think it was the first game of the series. Maryland, Louisiana was a fire game, and Louisiana ended up pulling it out, coming from behind. And I think they swept. Didn't they sweep Maryland?
Yeah,
they did. They swept Maryland. Yeah.
The third game was 15 innings.
Yeah, maybe that was the one I watched. I forget. One of the ones was like an awesome game. And then that's what started the me going down the rabbit hole of this is a great crowd. Let me look at this stadium that looks super cool. And then it's just like, I need to go back there. I was right there and I didn't check this out. What the fuck is wrong with me? You see San Diego, the Tritons, who can play good ball, plus 135 on the money line there at Louisiana in Lafayette there. What do they call the stadium again? There's a name for this, right?
The
Teague.
Yeah. Very excited to watch this game, guys. My first thought would be there's a great value on a decent UC San Diego team, but it seems to be a hostile environment there with the Raging Cajuns. Bieniek, what are you doing here?
Yeah, this is going to be a great series. And on Friday, I'm looking this up right now just to double check myself because UC San Diego's 3-4, but they faced UCLA in 3 games. And then last weekend, they were in the Tony Gwynn Legacy Invitational that they hosted. They played Creighton, BYU, and Western Michigan. But specifically Steele Murdoch. So his ERA in 2 games has been inflated. He has walked the world. He's got 6 walks in 7 innings, but he's got 9 strikeouts and a 7.71 ERA. This is a kid that can touch triple digits. He was a Cape Cod League All-Star this past summer. And he showed some real flashes as a freshman last year. So I'm interested in the arm. I don't know if it's more of a prospect or if he can actually be a good college performer this season as a sophomore. Ty Roman is a lefty going for Louisiana. He also has been touched up a little bit. Opponents are hitting 231 against him so far in his 10 innings with a 5.40 ERA. I think it's going to come down to best offense emerges from the series, but also in this game. I think there's a little bit of value on the plus 135 with UCSD. That's where I'm going to point you. Going into the Teague and pulling off a win is a very tough thing to do, but I think the Tritons have a really good offense this year, and that's where I'm going to point you guys. JP, how about where are you heading on this one?
Yeah, I'm staying at home with the Cajuns. We talked about it. They swept Maryland. They also got the midweek 2-game sweep over K-State, which was huge. I think they got one of those was for sure a walk-off victory. So this team's hot right now, a lot of momentum, and long travel trip. We talked about with the Gauchos, those California boys may not know how to handle the crowds and say these, I don't know, the Teague, they tend to have like a similar
dude, they'll be eating frog legs. They'll be eating frog legs and shit. They'll be like, what the fuck? What planet are we on? Right?
They're gonna be spitting frog bones on them in the outfield, wondering where the hell they are. So I'm staying with the Cajuns here.
No doubt. I like that. There's not great value, but are you actually going in on the Cajuns? Because I'm like, you can convince me. It's like minus 175. It's like, should I? I'd rather take a crazy shot. Sometimes I get a little crazy. I get bored and I'm like, give me the run line.
Yeah.
Like lay in 1.5 or something or 2. The ECU game the other day was 2.5. So I don't blame Paul for taking the 2.5. But what's up, Bieniek?
No, just agreeing with the plus 2.5 was a good pick, and it ended up coming in at the end.
Yeah. By the way, the ECU relief pitcher last night, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I have my concerns. every other pitch was a wild pitch. I was like, oh God. Next up we have the Mexicans, UT Rio Grande. They love what they're doing, man. Love these crowds they've had, but now they hit the road to Beaumont, Texas, right on the freeway there. I've been down there, Beaumont, Texas, taking on these Lamar Cardinals. you guys got to help me out with Lamar here because everything I watched makes me want to bet UT Rio Grande, but I have not watched Lamar yet this year out of the Southland. But man, UTRVG with these crowds, RGV, has, and then the what they did with Houston, what they did with Kansas.
Yeah,
I'm kind of all sold on these. What's their name again? Vasqueros, right? Yeah. Bieniek, your thoughts?
Yeah, come on, Colby. You know your shit.
I do. I've been thinking about this for a little bit. You know, there's like 1,000 Texas schools, so I'm like, wait, who are they again?
Yeah,
but I don't know my shit when it comes to Lamar baseball. So sell me on me taking Lamar. All right.
So Will Davis, their head coach, is fantastic. First off, like I'm a Will Davis believer, and I'm not just saying that because he's interacted with me on Twitter and he follows me. Lamar has some really good pitching staffs over the past couple of years, and I think they're headed that direction once again this year. It was just a big rebuilding project that they had to do with a lot of guys they added through the portal. They had a top 25 portal class this year. That's kind of their claim to fame. But when we were looking at them, they even tweeted at us, which I know Mike has his fingers on the account over there, so I'm not surprised. But he was chirping at us that we didn't put Lamar in the mid-major top 25 in the preseason, and they're still not there yet. But it's kind of like we expected them to have a little bit of a slow start. I didn't expect them to drop a game to Oakland. The Golden Grizzlies are 1-6 this season. Their one win was the Lamar Cardinals on Sunday. And then also they have just been blasted by Texas and Texas A&M in midweeks. They did get a win against Kansas last week. So this team just has struggled a little bit with consistency. I would say that would be how I describe it here. And a really interesting move from Will Davis and the bunch. They're going with Travis Lutz with the Friday night start. UT Rio Grande, defending their regular season championship from last year, has Sergio Lopez, who was one of the best arms from McNeese last year in conference transfer. Last season, he was excellent for the Pokes. He had a 2.89 ERA. He was 7-1 in 53 innings. He only walked 16 with 51 strikeouts. This year, he's emerged as their top arm in the starting rotation. It hasn't been the smoothest transition for him at starting as a starting pitcher, but he's been better than Travis Lutz. Lutz in his career, he spent 3 years at Bradley. 53 innings as a freshman, 73 innings as a sophomore, and 41 innings as a junior. He's got a 7.35 career ERA. It's not been great for Lutz, and he's only thrown one inning so far this year. So I don't know what has happened, what's up with Lamar, but I think immediately they're getting off on the wrong foot in this one. Rio Grande, their offense has been fantastic. I think they're battle tested with the first 2 weekends they've played. Going on the road and knocking off Houston was very impressive to me. The Vaqueros are one of my favorite plays on Friday. Minus 105, that's a lock for me.
Winner. Let's go. JP, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I guess it's scary because it's one of those mid-major Texas in-state rivalry type weekends and games, but I don't know. The Vaqueros, I saw someone describe them as a phone booth team. Every game with them is like a fight in a phone booth, which I absolutely love. Coach Matlock for these guys actually recruited me when he was with the West Virginia Mountaineers, so I knew him a little bit. I always loved what he was about. He's a gritty dude. He's going to have these dudes ready to play. And, yeah, the minus 105 is disrespectful in my opinion. I'm also on the Vaqueros here.
I mean, it's fascinating. Sometimes I just like have to remind myself, and this is me and Bieniek were talking about this recently. I'm going to take UT Rio Grande as well, but Texas is so fucking big.
It's
like I know that they're way down there in the southern tip, like by McAllen, where I once did the art department on a movie, a shitty movie that no one will ever find. But I spent a month in McAllen, Texas once, and dude, I just feel like that's okay. Southland team that's right up the road from Beaumont. That shit is almost 7 hours driving. I'm like, good God. I was thinking, oh, this. I in my head, I was like, I want to look up the time because this is probably a pretty strong rivalry. Nah, 7 hours. You drive 7 hours anywhere on the East Coast. You've gone like 5 states. Unbelievable. So I don't even know. I mean, I know there's Southland teams, or and I know, but I don't know that even they qualify for rivals. You know what I mean? Because that's a big amount of distance. But yeah, give me UT Rio Grande as well. Next up, and Steven in the chat saying, you sold me. Let's go. Steven from the great state of Texas. Kansas, Minnesota. All right. I got into an argument over this game, Bieniek.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Someone was saying that they should do more games at this stadium. And they were not talking about baseball. They were talking about football, which, so I've been arguing with people I've never met in my life. And sometimes it gets ugly. Sometimes you just say, hey, dude, I don't care. You make fun of me. I make fun of you. Right. Kansas, Minnesota at the US Bank Stadium, a place that should never play sport, in my opinion. But here we are. Bieniek. Kansas, I lost money on already. I think twice this year. Can they take down your Big Ten Noah Petiti Gophers in front of a gigantic stadium?
Yeah, I'm going to point everybody to overs immediately on this one to start off. These two teams played on Wednesday. They put up 15 runs in that one. And last year they were putting up basically 15, 20 runs a game in those matchups, I do believe. For whatever reason, they see the ball really well in this football field. It's a quirky watch. I recommend it for one game, but it was bombs away between these two teams last year in this stadium. And I think Kansas is better prepared for those type of game scripts. We're going to see Dom Vagley go for the Jayhawks here. Not been the greatest start for him or Cole Selvig, who's on the mound for Minnesota. But this is strictly a handicap on the offenses for me, and I'll take the Jayhawks at -154. And I'll probably be betting the over here against the two aces with that lower price because of the aces baked in. But I just think that we're going to see 14 plus runs in this one, JP.
Yeah, I'm riding with my Big 12 Jayhawks here as well. I don't think we've quite seen the full potential of this offense yet, and we might not see it this weekend either. But I do believe if Bieniek's predicting a slugfest, if you will, in this one, I'll side with the bats of the Jayhawks here. So give me the Jayhawks.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the Forever 21 on the third floor after you go to the food court. I'm on the Jayhawks too.
So
at
last
-154.
Last year Minnesota won the first game 10-6 and then lost the second game 29-1.
That's tough. As someone that once lost a basketball game by 96 points and got cheated on by my ex the same week, the 96 points was way fucking worse. I'm telling you, the 96 points was like I had to stare in the mirror. I remember like getting out of the shower the next morning and like you're just getting ready for the day. You're shaving and shit. I was like, and I knew I'd been like cheated on and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even give a fuck. It's the 96 points shit. It's like my manhood is at question here. Like, what the fuck? How'd you lose by 96? At what point? Why didn't I punch that guy in the face at 50? Right? Like, so 29-1 in your home state. I can only imagine you got to get the fuck out of the state for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the, you got to call the FBI and try to get the witness protection program. That shit is rough. All right, next up. Virginia Tech is at Texas A&M, or not at Texas A&M. They're in Arlington, taking on Texas A&M. Texas A&M minus 300, so zero value on this play. If Bieniek, can you build me a case where Virginia Tech comes in here and knocks off? Because the Hokies a few years ago weren't that bad.
No, not at all. They were like I think it was number 4 or number 5 overall seed in the NCAA tournament in 2022. I think that's a fun fact that I've had to mention a couple times when we talk Virginia Tech baseball on this podcast. But it's true. And Brett Renfro is one of the better arms in the ACC for the upcoming year, and he got his shit wrecked last weekend against Rutgers. So I think that a massive bounce back is in store, and I know I picked Texas A&M, but this price is disrespectful for Virginia Tech with their ace on the mound, who's one of the better arms on the Atlantic coast. So plus 220 is like a slam dunk for me with how Texas A&M performed against good pitching last weekend. Take the shot. And if it's a lower scoring game that typically lends to the dog being somewhat live, and the Hokies at plus 220 is well worth it for me, in my opinion. But I do think that A&M is ultimately going to edge this one out. If we're getting a 3.5 on the run line, give me that with the Hokies. I'll lock that up. If not, I'll just sprinkle a little bit on the money line here at plus 220. JP, how are you attacking this one?
I actually have the Aggies money line in one of my locks of the day with Clemson. As I may have mentioned earlier, you got Sadeo on the mound, who's looked lights out. You got a team who got embarrassed all of last year, got embarrassed on this stage specifically to kind of start the year last year. They're still looking to make their bounce back. And you talked about Renfro kind of struggled in his first couple starts. This is a red hot offense. This is not the offense you want to bounce back against. They're going to have, between them or Mississippi State, the most fans in this stadium. I'm all over the Aggies here. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with a run line or
please
2 or
say
300.
Aggies,
but
Aggies minus 300 lock.
Yeah, Aggies minus 300. Lock it up. Lock it a century.
This is why you subscribe to the College Baseball Experience for these lead pipe locks. Aggies minus 300. Load it up. All right. What's this run line even going to be? I think it might be
3.5.
I was about to say
I think it's 2.5 or 3.5. And if it's 3.5, I'm locking that up. Give me the Hokies plus 3.5. I love that a lot. Colby, I do have tough news to break to us. I'm trying to pull up the picture. Give me 2 seconds, but I screwed up including a game on this. Iowa and Alabama. So I'm going to.
Are you busting the slide in here?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So real quick, here we go. And yeah, Frisco, Texas, the one bettable game that we've got down there, Iowa and Bama.
Wait, what?
Are you able to see the screen that I'm sharing?
No.
Oh.
No.
What the fuck?
I don't know what computer you're working on. A Packard Bell, all right? What kind of computer are you working on?
I saw like 13 screens.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let me see if I can help you. Let me see if I can help you. I'm gonna download this. What's up?
I got it. Okay. I got it figured out now. Here, we'll do this. We'll try this one more time. And how about now?
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Yes.
A little challenged over here, but we got to figure it out.
Iowa plus 140 at Frisco, Texas against Roll Tide. Like, I don't know if you guys remember. I'm hoping you don't. I don't even know that I should remind you guys. They took the Tide to, in the SEC tournament this year. Not off to the greatest start. What happened?
What's up?
This guy.
Back to A&M.
Yeah. Either way,
what's happening.
I don't know. Look, let me.
There, it's back up.
Okay. Yeah, the Tide have not been so great so far. Makes me a little weary of my ballsy pick of, hey, we can do this. Yeah, I mean, they're minus 180. Are the Hawkeyes worthy, Noah Petiti, as a Big Ten team that could actually knock off the Tide here? Because my first thoughts are like Tide, I look for the run line, even though they've looked like, I won't want to say they look like complete dog shit because they've won some games, but against nobodies. What are we doing here?
No, I'm agreeing with you in like how I'm viewing Bama up until this point. They haven't, they haven't looked super. And Tyler Fay, the Friday night starter for Alabama, did get rocked against Washington State on opening day, where they ended up losing to the Cougars. They bounced back last week. Rhode Island has began the year 0-7, but that was the preseason favorite in the A10. And he pitched a little bit better in that game against the Rams. Overall, though, I think when comparing the offenses once again here, and Delta Dimes did a really good job of, explaining at Frisco, the ball tends to fly in this park. And I think it's going to lend itself to overs in games where you're not going to see an elite pitcher like Dax Whitney throw. And Tyler Guerin's not that, and Tyler Fay is not that either. So I think there's going to be some runs scored. I'm going to favor the better offense in this, and I feel really good about actually picking Alabama in this one, to the point where I'm going to put them in a moneyline parlay for the end of the show. I just think that their offense has a lot more power in it than Iowa's currently does. So, JP, are you in agreement on that?
Yeah, it's still kind of a prove it weekend for Alabama. Obviously, as we talked about, I do think this is definitely worth a look at either a money line parlay, or we've seen often. I mean, you're probably going to get even odds on a -1.5 here, which I think is worth a look.
Roll Tide. You know me. I've already had a ballsy prediction on them, so I might as well burn to the ground with them.
There you go.
Shout out to Bombo. I've met up with Bombo. Been on his podcast. Met him at ACC Media Days. He just locked in Texas Natty in baseball and football, as well as LSU Natty in both. 100-1 on both. Let it ride. I love it.
That's crazy.
I love it. Parlay in baseball and football national championship. Where are you getting that action at? Is that DK offering that? Has there been a team that has won both the same year ever?
I don't know.
Probably with the SEC's dominance, right?
Yeah, I'm not the college football or college baseball encyclopedia to really know, but doing the math in my head, Alabama has won like 8 of the last 16 football natties, and their baseball program's been garbage. So,
but my first thought is, did LSU ever cross over? Did
LSU's probably
not
a really
in
good
19?
Not in 19. Okay.
I think maybe your best shot is probably Texas and like the Augie days.
Vince Young.
The Vince Young. Yeah, like that early 2000s, late 90s maybe.
Yeah. If you go too far back, then the Big West dominance peaks in, and they're not winning football natties.
I'm thinking now. Let me ask you, which one is more likely to you guys this year? I know, even if you don't know football well, like
Texas Natty baseball.
I think Texas Natty and football is certainly possible. They've loaded up and spent a bunch of money.
It's honestly not a bad parlay if that's the case.
Yeah,
100-1. Texas was my preseason pick to win the Natty.
And he got that in FanDuel, by the way.
I think it's super hard to repeat. Lane Kiffin, I love him. I think he's awesome. Who was Sam Leavitt is who they got out of the portal, the quarterback for Arizona State. I've just honestly never been like a huge fan of him, and I don't know. I didn't like the way he
handled the Arizona State situation, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, I just don't know how he's he's going to respond. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. That's a big step up going from being the quarterback at Arizona State to LSU. And I don't know. It's a lot on a kid. So I don't know.
The 2005 College World Series, Texas won it all, and that was the Vince Young year.
Yeah.
Wow. Texas 05. Damn, that's a hell of a year for your athletic department.
Yeah. Was that
they probably
20,
went.
Was that a
year did they go to the Final
2005
Four too?
Was that a 2005 Natty? 2006 was the year they won it, though.
Yes.
I'm curious. What year was it they went to the Final Four with Rick Barnes? That was probably after that, right? I'm old enough where these things start to run together, right? Like I don't even remember. Like I'm like, what decade?
2003 was the Final Four.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't that far off. What a fucking year for your athletic department. At that point, I would be such a dickhead. You win basketball or you win base. You win baseball and football the same year.
That's very 2023 2CU like.
Yeah. With that run, yeah. Next up, we have Michigan, San Diego.
Speaking of 2023 TCU.
Oh yeah, there we go. I was on TCU money line then.
Yeah, I know.
Toreros -115 right here. Me and JP already sold you on, unless JP has them losing the first in the series. I don't think he does, but we're all over these Toreros here. I mean, I'm telling you.
This was all three of us, actually. Delta Dimes was the one that went contrarian with Michigan.
Steven says it was never done in the same academic year, says Google.
Yeah. The 2005 was the end of the academic calendar.
Right.
For Texas, which is in the summer, and then it flips. The academic calendar flips in July.
It's still a great fucking year.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I would be like, you remember that scene in have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny, guys?
Yeah.
You guys are?
Yeah.
There's a point where he's starting to win his case, and Joe Pesci's like in front of the other bench, in front of the jurors, being like this. That's how I'd walk around the state of Texas. I'm at lunch at a nice 5-star restaurant. If I'm the AD, I'd be going around every table being like, that's me. That's me. That's me.
Guy.
Yeah, that's me. San Diego's the play though, Bieniek. We're gonna crush your fucking dreams. All right. What are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah, with Coach Tracy Smith, he's very much a gamesmanship guy. Does not tip who's starting in the weekend rotation. So San Diego followed suit and did not announce starters either. My projection is going to be Tate Carey and Diego Gutierrez, respectively, though. Give me Diego Gutierrez in San Diego. I think their pitching staff is just as good as Michigan's, and the lineups performed better against very solid competition as well this year. So I'll keep that one short and sweet since we already talked about it. JP, you're on San Diego too, eh?
Yeah. To be totally transparent, I don't know if I'm going to have the guts to pull the trigger on an actual bet here, just because of how well and close Michigan has played a lot of these teams early on. But yeah, in a pick 'em here, I'm on the Toreros.
Toreros all day. I don't give a shit about how Michigan's played. All right. These Toreros have been our darling so far.
I was going to say, honestly, I'll lock it in just because they've been me and Colby's team so far through 2026. I'm locking it in.
You hear that music? That's us dominating right there. Lock. Toreros -115.
Caesar's saying that San Diego is his survivor pick.
Yeah, feels bad, man, hitting us with your Gators just with a magical run. Sure, they covered up like 3 murders, but that was a great crime normally pays. I've always believed that.
Yeah. It was College World Series final in 2005, and then back-to-back basketball natties, and then Tebow run in college football. That was an era for sure.
Yeah. He still didn't have sex though. But next up, was that the end of the run? I thought we had one more. Okay.
Well, the end of the run only took 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Well, we're having fun, All right, best bets of the night, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of already revealed my hand here.
No, and I think all of us probably have. The only one. So I've got a lock, a dog, and then a money line parlay that I'm gonna give out in this section. The lock for me is going to be Rio Grande against Lamar. I think it's priced incorrectly with Lamar going with a guy that has a career 7.75 ERA and like 110 innings in the Missouri Valley. So I'll take the Vaqueros there. They're pretty battle tested going into that one in their first conference game of the season. And then I think I'll go with Ole Miss Alabama moneyline parlay at plus 102 as my second bet there that I'll give out on the show. And I'll fire on Arizona State plus 150 with Cole Carlone on the pump against Mississippi State.
Ooh. All right. For my biggest bets for tomorrow, my two heavier plays. First one, the money line parlay. I'm going with Clemson against South Carolina, and then Texas A&M over Virginia Tech. The odds on that are minus 108. And then my other big play tomorrow, the Indiana Hoosiers are priced at minus 140 right now at Western Kentucky. Bieniek, I know we talked about how we feel like this Western Kentucky team might be a little down from last year. I think Indiana is actually a pretty good team, and they've played some really good competition in the first 2 weeks.
I came away rather impressed. When I caught them live, I was rather impressed. I mean, if you take away the airs, they kind of went toe for toe with Carolina.
Right. And I just think this is a big kind of bounce back spot for them, so to speak. And minus 145 is just a little bit disrespectful price in my opinion. So I'm laying the hammer down there. And then other plays, I really like UTRGV. I can't find it on either of my books. It's only on DraftKings right now. I am on Florida money line at plus 100, UAB minus 120, and San Diego minus 115. And then that's kind of all for right now. I'm holding out on some of these totals. I know last week, Bieniek, I think last week you had a couple totals, but I had one total on my whole card for Friday. And I feel like this week, depending on what there are, I may even cash out of some of these money line plays, and I have a feeling there's going to be a decent amount of totals that I like tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Vegas unders, the Frisco overs, Globe Life possible unders. I could see myself probably on 5 or 6 totals tomorrow to be honest, so. Yeah, follow at NoahB77_. I'll tweet them out at some point hopefully before the first game in Globe Life. Depends on if I'm on the basketball show and how long the basketball show goes. That will determine when I wake up.
Yeah, that one might be long. Friday to Saturday, that will be brutal.
No, Thursday to Friday.
Oh, we got Bet Detective on the night, but you're more than welcome. You all right. I'm saying but yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure if you were taking the night off or not, but
maybe it'll allow me to get it up and look at the slate before the first game there at noon. So I'll take it.
There we go. Well, look, they minus 195 is not where I will start things off with ECU taking down Rutgers, but when that run line comes out, you better believe I will be jumping on these Pirates. We mentioned some of the other ones that were pretty obvious to me. The Toreros are one I'm loading up on. We are going that way all day. I'm also going to take that Florida Gulf Coast at minus 154, I think it was. I'm going to jump on that. Also, the Gators plus 100. Come on. And then UTRGV is one that is coming. And then I'm going to go off the reservation for you. How about this? I know we didn't talk necessarily about, I think Irvine plus 200. Why not take a shot on that against Vandy?
Yeah.
All right. Opening game here. Plus 200 on the Anteaters. Let me dabble. Let me throw a little bit on these Anteaters. But all right.
It's a reasonable look. I
don't think it's that
definitely
bad, right?
Yeah, they could fight in a low-scoring matchup there. Yeah, I don't normally do this either, but I think both the Head First podcast and the 11.7 podcast also put out fire episodes that everybody should go listen to. With JP talking about how he was able to get Coach Bishel on to preview the Diet Mountain Dew Classic, and then the 11.7 pod interviewed Jabba Chamberlain before the Nebraska Auburn series. So that was pretty interesting too. So check out those two pods as well.
For sure. And can I also, the chat's bringing up Fresno State plus 180 at Stanford. Do you guys like that?
That one is one that I'm going to stay away from. I looked into it, honestly, a little bit. And, I don't know. Bieniek is honestly one to bet underdogs more than I am, but there's not enough there for me.
I love slinging our underdogs because it's a cheap bet for me. Like I bet everything to win one unit, and I can put like $34 on something, and then if it loses, it's not like the end of the world for me. But yeah, that's kind of my approach on that. But Stanford is a team that I respect, and I don't see them losing a ton of upset games. And they're not a team that I typically target in that, but they fell last week against Fullerton once or twice to my memory. So they're not immune to it. That's for sure.
All right, there we go. I think he's a Fresno fan. Peyton's excited for that game, so we wanted to get Fresno. Oh, look, Nick in there. Shout out to Nick. Appreciate you, Nick. Look, folks, we will be back, but enjoy a wonderful week of college baseball action. As
Murph Gray's a Pirate too, by the way. Got drafted by the Pirates.
Oh, God bless him. I like the Pirates too, though. All right, Willie Stargell forever. All right. Look, folks, Bieniek's on Twitter at NoahB77_. JP Sponseller there at Headfirst Pod, or I'm sorry, Headfirst_pod. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. Check out the Headfirst Pod. Check out what was the other one, Bieniek? 11.7 pod, right? Or
yes, sir.
I mean, come on. Share the wealth. You got downtime. I know you fucking people have downtime. No, all we do is sit in our cars, our jobs. You don't want to listen to your boss. Plug in.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you lasted 2.5 hours listening to a college baseball weekend preview, just hit the subscribe button. We'll be here all year. Hit the like, subscribe, listen, leave a rating, review, wherever you're listening on podcast platforms. It's appreciated. We appreciate y'all.
Amen. Amen. Shout out to Feels Bad Man. Thanks, fellas. You guys make life better. Till next time. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Hit that like and subscribe at TCE on SGPN on Twitter is our home. Till next time. This is the College Baseball Experience. Hey, you better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.